The moonlight spilled through the crystal dome above the grand hall, glimmering over silk gowns and golden crowns. The annual mating ceremony of the Lycan royal court was the most sacred event of the year, where destiny itself whispered the name of your fated mate. But for Ariana Hale, destiny was never kind, and tonight, it was about to play its cruelest joke. She wasn't supposed to be here. Not in this palace. Not in this glittering world of kings and alphas and royal bloodlines. She was just the daughter of a forgotten Omega family, living on the edge of Packlands, barely scraping through life. Yet here she stood, trembling, awestruck, and slightly breathless, among nobles and warriors, pretending she belonged. Her friend Mira had begged her to come. Just for one night, Ariana, she'd said. No one will even notice you. But the universe noticed. And so did he. The hall was roaring with laughter, sense of power and dominance filling the air. Wolves in human form, their instincts simmering beneath the surface, gathered around the golden thrones at the front, the seats of the Alpha King and his council. Ariana's eyes drifted over the throne, tall, carved with moonstones and ancient runes. It glowed faintly, as if the moon itself had kissed it. She didn't know why, but it called to her. Maybe curiosity, or maybe something deeper, something ancient in her blood she didn't understand. Everyone had stepped aside for the entrance procession. She saw an empty seat and, without thinking, she sat. Just for a second, just to rest her shaking legs. Just until the ceremony began. But that second changed everything. A silence fell across the room like a storm cloud. The music stopped. The murmurs froze. And then, the scent. Strong, dominant, like cedarwood and lightning after a storm. Ariana's heart skipped. The double doors burst open, and he entered, the Alpha King, in all his terrifying, divine beauty. Tall, commanding, eyes like molten silver that could see through your soul. His aura rippled through the room, making even the most powerful alphas bow their heads in submission. His name was Lucian Varkas, the youngest Alpha King in centuries, chosen by the moon goddess herself. A man feared by many, obeyed by all. But in that moment, he didn't look at his council. Or the nobles. Or the ceremony ahead. His gaze locked, straight on her. Ariana froze. Every drop of blood in her veins seemed to stop moving. Lucian's eyes darkened, and his jaw tightened. He walked forward slowly, each step echoing like thunder against the marble floor. The crowd parted in silence. Mira whispered beside her, horrified. Arya, get up now. But Ariana couldn't move. Her body wouldn't listen. Her heart pounded so loudly. Why, she thought he might hear it. Lucian stopped before her. His presence was overwhelming, heat and power, danger and beauty woven together. And then, in a voice that could silence worlds, he said, "You're sitting in my seat." Her throat went dry. She shot to her feet, stammering, I'm sorry, I didn't mean," but the moment her scent reached him, something snapped in his gaze. The moonlight above flickered, his pupils dilated, and his breathing deepened. The hall filled with murmurs again. The king's scent, she triggered it. No, it can't be. Lucian's hand gripped the edge of the throne as his chest heaved. He took one slow step toward her. You. His voice dropped low, almost a growl. What is your name? Ariana, she whispered. The king's lips curved, not in amusement, but in disbelief. Ariana, he repeated, as if tasting it. Then, almost under his breath, the moon's cruel game continues. The High Beta, standing nearby, stepped forward in alarm. Your Majesty, she's an Omega. She shouldn't even be here. Lucian's gaze cut him off like a blade. Enough. He turned back to Ariana. You sat in the Alpha King's seat during the mating ceremony. His tone was cold, but his eyes, they burned with something deeper. Do you know what that means? Ariana's lips parted, trembling. I didn't, he leaned closer, his voice a whisper only she could hear. It means, he said softly, the moon has chosen. The hall gasped. No, someone shouted. She's a mistake, but Lucian straightened to his full height, his aura flaring, silencing every voice in the room. His power rippled through the air like wildfire. I, Lucian Varkas, Alpha King of the Western Pax, he declared, accept the moon's choice. His hand extended, not in invitation, but in claim. Every pair of eyes turned toward the trembling Omega who had unknowingly sat in a throne that no one dared to touch. Ariana's world spun. Her heart screamed to run, but her soul whispered, stay. Lucien's voice dropped again, softer now. You will come with me. She stared at him, shaking her head. No, this has to be a mistake. But destiny had already chosen. And the moon never makes mistakes. Later that night, when the ceremony ended in chaos, Ariana found herself standing at the palace balcony. The city below sparkled, and the king's scent lingered on the air, intoxicating, impossible to ignore. Her hands gripped the railing as she whispered to herself, what just happened? Why me? A low voice answered behind her. Because, Lucien said quietly, stepping into the moonlight, you are mine. Ariana spun around, fear and something unexplainable flickering in her chest. I'm not. I don't even know you. He smiled faintly. You don't have to. The moon does. He reached out, brushing his tea. Hump across her wrist, where a faint silver mark now glowed under the moonlight. A symbol only true mates bore. Her breath hitched. No, yes, he murmured. You sat in my seat. Now, you sit in my fate. The night wind howled, carrying the weight of something ancient, a bond neither of them asked for, yet couldn't break. And far above them, the moon shone brighter, as if laughing at the chaos it had begun. The night was restless. Ariana couldn't sleep. The palace walls felt alive, like they were breathing around her, whispering secrets of wolves and power, of queens and bloodlines that ruled the world from the shadows. She sat by the window, wrapped in a blanket too soft to belong to someone like her. Outside, the moon hung heavy, bright and cruel, reminding her of everything that had changed in just one night. She had been nobody. Now the Alpha King called her his fated mate. Her heart thudded painfully at the thought. It's not real, she whispered into the silence. It can't be real. But deep inside, beneath the confusion and fear, something stirred, a warmth she couldn't explain, the same warmth she had felt when he touched her wrist and the silver mark appeared. It pulsed faintly now under her skin, like it was alive. She pressed her hand over it, whispering again, please stop. The door creaked open. Ariana spun around. A guard stood there, his posture rigid. His Majesty requests your presence, he said curtly. Her stomach dropped. Now? It's the middle of the night. He said now. The door closed again, leaving her no choice. The halls of the royal palace stretched endlessly, bathed in moonlight and shadows. Ariana walked between towering marble columns, her footsteps soft on the polished floor. She could feel the eyes of paintings, of statues, of ancestors who had watched kings and queens fall in love, rise in power, or be destroyed by it. When the doors to the royal chamber opened, she froze. Lucien stood at the balcony, the same place where he had claimed her only hours ago. His back was to her, broad and strong beneath a dark silk shirt. The moonlight kissed his hair, turning it silver white. Without looking, he spoke, his voice low, smooth, and commanding. You disobeyed my summons earlier. She blinked, startled. I didn't know it was a command. I thought. He turned. His gaze met hers, sharp, piercing, unyielding. When the Alpha King calls, it is never a request. Ariana flinched. I'm sorry, I didn't mean any disrespect. Lucien stepped closer. His presence filled the room, pulling the air out of her lungs. Do you know what happens to Omegas who challenge an Alpha? She swallowed hard. I'm not challenging you. No, he said softly, but you will. The moon never chooses an easy bond. Her pulse quickened. She hated that his voice had this effect on her, the way it crawled under her skin, sending her heart racing even when she wanted to hate him. Lucien's eyes softened slightly, reading the turmoil on her face. You're afraid. Of course I'm afraid, she whispered. You've turned my life upside down. I didn't ask for this. And you think I did? His tone was calm, but there was a shadow in his expression, old pain, old anger. Do you think I wanted the moon to bind me to a stranger? Silence stretched between them. Ariana looked down, whispering, then reject it. Reject me. Set us both free. Lucien's jaw tightened. He stepped even closer until the heat of his body brushed against hers. If I reject what the moon has chosen, I bring a curse upon my throne, and upon you. Her breath caught. A curse? He nodded once. The bond will rot. It will burn through your soul until it destroys you. And me. Her knees weakened. Then what are we supposed to do? His hand rose slowly, hesitantly, as if fighting the urge. We obey fate. She shook her head, tears pricking her eyes. I don't believe in fate. Lucien's gaze darkened, a ghost of a smile curving his lips. Then believe in me. The words struck deep, heavier than she wanted them to. For a heartbeat, she forgot where she was, forgot that this man was a king, forgot that her entire life had been turned into a royal scandal. But when his hand brushed her cheek, the world came crashing back. She stepped away, shaking her head. No, you can't just decide what my life will be. I'm not one of your subjects you can command. Lucien's eyes glinted. You are more than that. No, she whispered. I'm nothing. He exhaled sharply, frustration flickering across his face. You don't even know what you are. Her voice broke. I know enough to understand I don't belong here. He turned away, staring out at the moon again. Neither did I, once. Ariana frowned. What do you mean? He was silent for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice was low, almost fragile beneath the strength. I was born to a mother who wasn't royal. The council rejected her, and me. I had to take my throne by force. The moon goddess doesn't bless kings like me with easy destinies. Ariana's anger faltered. For the first time, she saw the man beneath the crown, the scars behind the authority. Lucien turned back to her, his silver eyes unreadable. You think you're a mistake, Ariana. But maybe the moon doesn't make mistakes. Maybe it brings chaos to reveal truth. Her lips parted, her heartbeat unsteady. And what truth is that? He stepped closer again, close enough that his breath brushed her skin. That you were meant to sit in that seat. That you were meant to walk into my world. Her pulse thundered. Stop, I can't, he murmured. Neither can you. Something inside her snapped, a mixture of fear and emotion that she couldn't hold back anymore. You don't even know me. You've known me one night. Lucien's voice softened. One night is all it takes for fate to decide. A tear slipped down her cheek, and his hand moved instinctively to wipe it away. But she stepped back again, breaking the fragile moment. I can't do this, she whispered. I can't be your queen. He looked at her for a long, silent moment, the tension thick as the night air around them. Then he said quietly, You already are. Her breath trembled. What? He reached out and took her hand, turning her wrist upward. The silver mark pulsed again, brighter this time, casting faint moonlight across her skin. The moon doesn't mark what it doesn't claim, he said. You're already bound, whether you accept it or not. Ariana stared at the mark, panic flickering in her chest. No, this can't be happening. But before she could pull away, a sharp knock sounded at the door. Lucien's head snapped up, his expression shifting instantly to the cold, commanding Alpha king the world feared. Enter. The door opened, and the high beta bowed low. Your Majesty, the council demands audience. They say the ceremony's outcome must be reviewed. They refuse to accept an Omega as Luna. A chill spread through Ariana's veins. Lucien's voice dropped, dangerous and calm. Tell the council they will accept what the moon commands. Majesty, if you force this bond, it could start a rebellion, then let them rebel, Lucien said darkly. They'll learn soon enough who their king answers to. The beta hesitated, glancing at Ariana with barely concealed disgust, then left silently. Lucien turned back to her, his expression softening once again. You see, Ariana? The world will not make this easy for us. But I will not let them take what is mine. Her voice was barely a whisper. I never asked to be yours. He stepped closer again, his tone low, intense, filled with something dangerous and tender at once. And yet you are. The room felt too small, too charged. The air between them was heavy with something she couldn't name. Lucien leaned in, his voice brushing against her ear. Run if you want to, Ariana. But the bond will always bring you back. Her heart pounded wildly. She turned and left before he could see the tears spilling down her face. Outside the chamber, she ran down the endless corridors until she reached the quiet garden, the one place untouched by the crown's weight. The night breeze cooled her burning skin, but the mark on her wrist kept glowing faintly. She fell to her knees beneath the old moonstone tree, whispering to the stars, Please, let this be a dream. But the wind only answered with silence. And somewhere high above, in his chamber, the Alpha King stood alone, staring at the same moon, whispering words the world would never hear. I won't lose you, even if the whole world turns against us. The moon watched them both, two souls bound by fate, trapped between fear and destiny, and neither ready to surrender. The first rays of dawn crept through the royal gardens, turning the dew into diamonds across the grass. But for Ariana, morning brought no light, only the heavy weight of fear sitting in her chest. She hadn't slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw his face, the Alpha King's silver gaze burning through her dreams, whispering her name like a promise she didn't want. She pressed her palm over the mark on her wrist. It pulsed faintly, like a living heartbeat under her skin. No matter how much she wished it away, it stayed. The moon's cruel reminder that her life was no longer her own. Mira found her in the garden, her hair messy, her eyes red from tears. "Arya," she whispered, crouching beside her. "Everyone's talking. The council met through the night. They're furious. They say the king's lost his mind." Ariana's lips trembled. "Maybe he has." Mira glanced around nervously. "You can't stay here. They'll blame you for this. The nobles, the packs, they'll come after you." Ariana's heart pounded. "Where would I even go?" "He'll find me. Not if you leave now." Ariana looked up, eyes wide. Mira pressed a small velvet pouch into her hands, gold coins, a forged pass, and a small folded map. "I know someone beyond the northern border. They can help you hide. Mira, if he finds out I'll tell him you ran." "He'll believe me." Her friend's voice broke. "Please, Arya, go before it's too late." Ariana stared at the palace in the distance, its towers gleaming like blades against the sky. Somewhere inside, Lucian was probably already awake, commanding the world as if it were made to obey him. She closed her eyes and whispered, "I can't belong to someone I barely know." Mira squeezed her hand. "Then run, before fate decides for you." By noon, Ariana was gone. The guards at the gate barely noticed the small servant girl carrying a basket of herbs. Her head bowed, her steps calm. But under the fabric of her cloak, her pulse raced wildly. The moment she crossed the outer wall, the air changed, freer, colder, cleaner. For the first time since the ceremony, she could breathe. The path led down the mountain toward the valley forests, where sunlight scattered through ancient trees and the air smelled of moss and rain. She walked for hours, her heart beating in rhythm with the whispering wind. But no matter how far she went, she could feel it, the faint pull inside her chest. The bond. Lucian's presence lingered like a shadow. Sometimes she thought she could hear his voice echoing in her mind, low, distant, full of restrained fury. "Ariana." She stumbled, gasping. "No, you're not here." Her hand clutched the mark, trying to silence it. But the connection pulsed stronger, like the bond itself was waking up. "You can't hide from me." She froze. The voice wasn't real, was it? The stories said true mates could sense each other across distances, feel pain, fear, even thoughts when the bond deepened. But theirs wasn't supposed to be real. It wasn't supposed to work. And yet, it did. She ran. Through the trees, through the mist, through the sound of her own heartbeat, running not just from him, but from herself. Far away, in the royal war room, Lucian stood surrounded by his generals, but his thoughts were miles away. "Your Majesty," the beta said sharply, "the council demands an annulment." They refused to acknowledge the Omega as Luna. Lucian didn't answer. His eyes were closed, his fists clenched. Something was wrong. He could feel her. The bond throbbed painfully under his skin, a distant echo of fear and exhaustion. She was far, but not gone. He turned abruptly. "Send scouts north." The beta frowned. "North? The borders are heavily guarded, no one could." She could. Lucian cut him off, his tone cold. "Find her." The beta hesitated. "And if she doesn't wish to return?" Lucian's jaw tightened. "She will. The bond won't let her run forever." But deep inside, a quieter voice whispered, "You're not chasing her for the bond, you're chasing her because you can't stand the thought of her gone." He silenced the thought and stormed out. Night fell again. Ariana reached the river by the border. Her clothes were torn, her hands scratched from branches. The map was nearly useless now, the forest paths had twisted and turned, and she couldn't tell which way was safety anymore. She dropped to her knees beside the water, cupping it to her lips, trembling. Almost there, she whispered to herself. Just a little farther. A howl echoed in the distance, low, powerful, and hauntingly familiar. Her blood froze. "No," she breathed. The forest went silent. The air thickened, every sound swallowed by the heavy beat of her own heart. Then, a rustle behind her. Ariana spun around, but saw nothing. She took a shaky step backward, clutching the pouch to her chest. The wind carried a scent, cedarwood and lightning. Her breath caught. Lucian. The ground beneath her feet trembled as a shadow emerged from the trees, tall, broad, eyes glowing silver in the dark. His voice broke through the night like thunder. "Did you really think you could run from me?" Ariana stumbled back, shaking. "How did you?" "The bond," he said simply, stepping into the moonlight. "It leads me to you. Always. Stay away," she whispered, her voice trembly. You can't just claim you?" His tone hardened. "I already did." Her eyes flashed with defiance through her fear. "You can't own me. I'm not your prize." Lucian stopped in front of her, his chest rising and falling with restrained fury. "You think this is about power? Isn't it?" she cried. "You're the Alpha King, you get whatever you want. And now you think I'm just another thing you can control." His voice dropped, low and raw. "If I wanted control, I would have kept you locked in the palace. But I let you go, Ariana. I wanted to see what you'd choose." She froze. "What I'd choose?" He stepped closer, his silver eyes fierce. "Yes. And you chose to run. Do you know what that tells me?" She swallowed hard, unable to speak. "That you're afraid of what's already yours." Her breath trembled. "You're wrong." "Am I?" he whispered, his gaze never leaving hers. "Then tell me, why do you feel me when I'm not near? Why does your pulse race when I speak?" "Because you terrify me," she snapped. His jaw tightened. "Good. Fear me if you must. But don't deny me." Tears stung her eyes. "You don't understand. I can't be a queen. I can't stand beside you. I don't belong in your world." Lucian took her hand, firm but not cruel. "Then I'll bring my world to you." She tried to pull away, but his grip tightened, not to hurt, but to anchor her. "You're mine, Ariana. Not because of fate. Because I choose you." Her heart screamed at her to believe him. But her mind, her fear, refused. "No," she whispered. "You only think you do." And before he could stop her, she turned and dove into the river. The freezing water swallowed her scream. Lucian roared her name, his voice echoing across the valley. The world seemed to tremble with it. He shifted, bones cracking, muscles tearing, fur exploding from his skin until the massive black wolf stood under the moonlight, eyes blazing silver. He leapt into the water after her. The current was wild, thrashing Ariana like a leaf in a storm. She fought to surface, her lungs burning, her limbs weak. The world blurred, light, dark, cold, silence. Then, strong arms pulled her up. She coughed, gasping, water streaming from her hair and face. Lucian's human form loomed over her, soaked, furious, terrified all at once. He pressed his forehead against hers, his voice breaking. "Don't ever do that again." She trembled in his arms. "You should have let me go." "Never," he whispered. "Not even death could make me." A single tear slid down his cheek, and for the first time, she saw the man beneath the king. Not power, not command, just a heart, raw and broken, holding on to something he couldn't lose. The world around them fell silent, the river, the forest, the wind. Ariana's body shivered against his warmth. Her voice was barely a wisp. Why me, Lucian?" He looked into her eyes, every word soft and certain. "Because when you sat in my seat, you didn't just take my place. You took my heart." The night closed around them, two souls soaked in moonlight and fate, caught between love and defiance, neither willing to surrender. But deep in the shadows of the forest, unseen eyes watched them. And the whisper of rebellion had already begun. The palace doors slammed open as the storm outside mirrored the chaos within. Rain lashed against the marble floors, dripping from Ariana's torn gown as she stood in the grand hall, silent, drenched, and trembling. The guards bowed low before the Alpha King, who followed close behind, his aura cold enough to silence thunder. Every step he took echoed like a verdict. The room bowed to him, yet all eyes slid toward the girl beside him, the human who had dared to run from the moon's decree. Lucian's gaze didn't leave her for a moment. His jaw clenched, his golden eyes darkened. Not in anger, in conflict. "Ariana," he said quietly, his voice barely containing the storm inside him. "Do you know what happens to those who defy the bond?" She lifted her chin despite the fear swirling in her chest. "I didn't ask for this bond." His eyes flashed with something sharp. "Pain, maybe. Neither did I. The words struck like lightning between them. The hall fell silent. Even the torches seemed to flicker in hesitation. For a moment, she thought he might walk away. But instead, Lucian stepped closer, too close, and every drop of rain on her skin seemed to freeze. His voice lowered to a whisper only she could hear. You don't understand, little mate. The bond isn't a choice. It's a prophecy. And with that, he turned, his cloak sweeping across the floor as he commanded, prepare the council. At dawn, the guards obeyed instantly. The hall emptied, leaving Ariana alone beneath the towering ceiling. Her breath came in shallow bursts. Prophecy. What did he mean by that? Later that night, as the storm began to quiet, Ariana found herself standing on the balcony overlooking the kingdom. The city below glimmered with torches and moonlight, but her heart felt like a locked room. Every time she looked at him, something inside her burned, a pull she couldn't explain, a warmth that terrified her. The Alpha King had saved her life twice now. But she couldn't forget the way his eyes shifted, how the beast within him stirred whenever she defied him. She wrapped her arms around herself. The palace wind whispered her name like it carried secrets she wasn't ready to hear. A soft voice broke the silence. You shouldn't be alone here. She turned. It was Mira, the healer, one of the few who had shown her kindness. You're trembling, Mira said, stepping closer. He'll be furious if he finds why. Oh, you like this. Ariana managed a weak smile. He already is. Mira sighed, glancing toward the darkened halls. Tomorrow's council meeting, it's not about you. Then she hesitated. At least, not entirely. What do you mean? The healer's eyes darted nervously. The elders believe the prophecy is repeating. The moon warned them centuries ago, if a human sits in the Alpha's place, the curse will awaken. Ariana's heart stopped. The curse? Mira looked away. They think you are that curse. The next morning, the palace buzzed with whispers. Shadows moved faster than light. Ariana stood beside the throne, dressed in silver, a gown chosen by the king himself. The fabric shimmered like frost, but she felt no warmth in it. The council chamber doors opened, revealing a circle of old wolves, their eyes sharp and cold. Alpha Lucian entered last. His presence filled the room. His gaze met hers once, a flicker of something protective hidden behind the steel of his expression. Then he turned to the elders. You summoned us, he said, voice calm but heavy with command. Elder Merrick, the eldest among them, stood. Your Majesty, we have received signs. The moon's balance trembles. Since the night of the mating ceremony, the stars have shifted. Lucian's jaw tightened. And you blame the girl? Merrick's eyes slid toward Ariana. We blame no one, my king. But the prophecy spoke of this moment. When the throne is claimed by one unmarked, the curse shall rise and the Alpha's heart shall burn. A gasp rippled through the chamber. Ariana's pulse thundered in her ears. She didn't understand the words, but their weight pressed against her chest like chains. Lucian's voice turned deadly. You stand before your king, accusing my fated mate of witchcraft? Merrick didn't flinch. We stand before a prophecy. And if you ignore it, you risk the entire kingdom. The silence that followed was sharp as glass. Lucian's eyes glowed faintly gold. The wolf in him stirred. You forget your place, elder. But Merrick only bowed slightly, a mockery of respect. We serve the moon before we serve the king. Those words struck deep. Ariana saw the change in Lucian's face, the battle between rage and restraint. He turned abruptly, his cloak flaring. Enough. This session is over. But before he could leave, another elder spoke. Then tell us, my king, why has the bond not been completed? The question hit like a blade. Lucian froze. Ariana's breath caught. Every pair of eyes turned to her, then back to him. The bond. The final step of the mating. The connection that would tie their souls forever. It hadn't been sealed. Because, Lucian said softly, she is not ready. And if she never is? Lucian's growl filled the hall. Then I will wait. Even if it takes eternity. The elders exchanged glances. Hat patience, that defiance, it was dangerous. And Ariana knew then, as their cold eyes lingered on her, that they would not let her live long enough to find peace. That night, the palace air felt heavier. The council had been dismissed, but something poisonous lingered in the corridors. Ariana paced her chamber, heart pounding. She couldn't stay here. She couldn't drag him into whatever fate followed her. But when she turned toward the door, Lucian was already there. He leaned against the frame, his voice low. "Running again?" She froze. His tone wasn't angry, it was broken, tired, edged with something raw. "I heard what they said," she whispered. "They'll destroy everything because of me." He stepped closer, the shadows dancing across his sharp features. "Let them try." "Lucian," he stopped in front of her, so close she could feel the heat of him, the wildness that never fully hid beneath his skin. His eyes softened, but his voice was still rough. "You are not my curse, Ariana." Her lips trembled. "Then what am I?" He reached out, brushing a single finger along her jaw, barely touching, but enough to make her heart race. "My reason to fight." That night, silence was not peace, it was warning. Somewhere deep within the palace, whispers grew like vines in the dark. Elder Merrick stood in the council chamber once more, lit only by the flicker of silver candles. His face was hard, his voice low. "The king has lost sight of reason. The bond has blinded him. If the prophecy is true, the curse will rise through her veins, and devour us all." Another elder stepped forward, wringing his hands. "We cannot move against the king. His wolf is chained by that human," Merrick interrupted, his tone cutting. "And a chained alpha is no alpha at all." They bowed their heads in uneasy silence, until one dared to whisper, "Then what do you suggest?" Merrick's eyes glinted like frost. "We remove her, quietly, before the next moon rises." Far above them, Ariana tossed restlessly in her bed. Her dreams were not dreams tonight, they were memories. Flashes of her village, a woman's scream, the scent of smoke and blood, a voice calling her name from the dark. A pair of golden eyes, not Lucian's, but ancient, burning through time. She woke with a gasp, clutching her chest. The mark on her skin, faint and silver beneath the moonlight, shimmered for a brief moment before fading again. "What are you trying to tell me?" she whispered to the empty room. A soft creak came from the door. Ariana froze. But it was Mira. Her face was pale, fear etched into every line. "You have to leave," she whispered urgently. "Now." Ariana sat up, heart pounding. "What? Why?" "The council, they're moving tonight. They mean to take you before dawn." The hallway outside was quiet, too quiet. Shadows moved like smoke, guards patrolling with muffled steps. Mira led her through hidden passages, the kind used by servants centuries ago. "Where are we going?" Ariana whispered. "To the stables. There's a path through the woods." She stopped suddenly. Footsteps echoed behind them. Too close. "Go." Mira pushed her forward. "Don't stop." Ariana ran. Her bare feet barely made a sound on the cold stone floors, her heartbeat louder than the storm outside. She turned a corner, only to find two guards waiting. One of them stepped forward, his eyes cold. "By order of the High Council, the human is to be detained." She backed away, panic rising. "Lucian will never know," the guard interrupted. But before they could move, a low, dangerous growl filled the air. A blur of black and gold struck from the shadows. The guards hit the ground before they even screamed. Lucian stood there, his eyes blazing, his wolf barely caged beneath his skin. "What did I tell you?" he said quietly, his voice trembling with fury, "about running?" Ariana stared at him, breathless. "I wasn't." He stepped closer, the scent of smoke and rain clinging to him. "They were coming for you. You think I didn't feel it?" His hand clenched at his side. "The bond told me. I felt your fear." Something in his tone broke her. All the fear, the exhaustion, the ache, everything crashed down at once. "I can't stay here, Lucian," she whispered. "I'm not one of you. I don't belong in this world of power and prophecy. I'm just me." He reached out, his fingers brushing a strand of hair from her face. "And yet the moon chose you." Tears stung her eyes. Then maybe the moon made a mistake. He exhaled sharply, his control slipping for a heartbeat. "No, she doesn't make mistakes." For a moment, they stood in silence, two souls trapped by fate and fear. Then, behind him, Myra's voice trembled. "Your Majesty, the council." Lucian's eyes hardened. "I know." He turned to Ariana, his tone firm but soft. "You're not safe here tonight. We ride to the Shadow Keep before dawn." "The Shadow Keep?" Mira gasped. "That place is cursed." Lucian's lips curved in a dark half-smile. "Then it's the only place they won't follow." Before dawn, the three of them rode out under the cover of mist. The palace lights disappeared behind the trees, swallowed by darkness. The forest stretched ahead, old, ancient, breathing with forgotten magic. Ariana held tightly to the reins, the wind cold against her skin. Lucian rode beside her, silent, his eyes scanning every shadow. "Why are you doing this?" she finally asked. "You could have let them take me." He didn't look at her. "Because I'd rather destroy my throne than lose you." Her heart stopped for a second. The words sounded like a vow, and a curse. By the time the sun rose, the mist began to thin. Ahead stood the Shadow Keep, its dark towers piercing the clouds, abandoned yet alive with whispering echoes. "This place," Ariana breathed, dismounting slowly. "It feels different," Lucian finished, his gaze distant. "This was where the first Alpha was born. Where the bond began." Ariana's fingers brushed the cold stone wall, and suddenly, a flash. The sound of wolves howling. A woman crying out beneath the moon. And a whisper. "The heart of the Alpha burns not in fury, but in love." She gasped, stumbling back. Lucian caught her instantly, his hands steadying her. "What did you see?" Her voice shook. "A woman. And fire. It was like, she was me." He looked at her then, truly looked at her, as if the truth had been waiting behind her eyes all along. "The prophecy," he said slowly, "was never about a curse. It was about a return." But before either of them could speak again, the sound of footsteps echoed through the courtyard, too many to count. Lucian turned sharply, his wolf snarling. "They've found us." Ariana's eyes widened. "The council?" "No," he growled. "Worse." From the mist emerged figures cloaked in black, their eyes burning red. The shadow wolves, the exiled ones. The creatures cursed by the moon herself. Myra's voice trembled. "They shouldn't exist." Lucian's expression hardened, his fangs flashing. "They do now." He stepped forward, shielding Ariana behind him. His voice was a low, lethal promise. "They want war?" His golden eyes blazed like fire. "Then let them face a king." The air inside the Shadow Keep turned thick and electric. Ariana could feel it in her bones, like the very ground trembled in warning. The moon hung low behind the storm clouds, its pale glow slicing through the ruins as Lucian moved forward, every muscle tight, every step deliberate. His wolf was there, just beneath his skin, ready to break free. The exiled wolves closed in, growling low, their red eyes reflecting hunger and hate. The council had not come themselves, but they had sent monsters to finish their work. Ariana's pulse pounded in her ears. "Lucian, there are too many." He glanced back, golden eyes burning. "Stay behind me." Mira whispered a spell under her breath, old healer's magic, faint and trembling. The ground rippled faintly with silver light as she drew protection symbols in the air. But the first wolf lunged before the circle was complete. Lucian moved like lightning. His claws ripped through the dark air, his growl echoing through the courtyard like thunder. One attacker fell, then another. But for every beast he struck down, two more appeared from the shadows. Ariana backed toward the ancient wall, breath shaking. She wasn't a warrior. She didn't have claws, or strength, or even control over whatever strange energy flickered inside her veins. Yet something deep within her began to stir, a warmth that wasn't fear, a light that pulsed like a heartbeat. The mark on her wrist began to glow again. Silver. Bright. Alive. Myra's eyes widened. "Ariana, what are you doing?" I don't know," she cried, the light spreading up her arm, through her chest, until her whole body burned with it. Lucian turned at the sound of her voice, just as a shadow wolf leapt from behind her. "No." The world exploded in white light. The creature screamed, disintegrating midair as the light consumed it. The blast swept across the courtyard, throwing the others back, the ground trembling beneath the force. When it faded, Ariana fell to her knees, gasping, trembling, her hair clinging to her face. Lucian rushed to her side, grabbing her shoulders. "Ariana, what did you do?" Her voice barely came out. I saw it. The woman in the vision. She said, "The heart of the Alpha burns in love." "Lucian, that power, it came from you." His eyes softened, confusion and awe tangled in his expression. "From me?" She nodded weakly. "Through the bond. Through us." He held her for a long moment, his heartbeat wild against hers, the world falling silent around them. For that single breath of time, there was no curse. No prophecy. no kingdom, only them. But peace never stays long in cursed places. A new voice cut through the stillness. How touching. Lucian froze. Ariana turned. From the shadows at the edge of the ruins, Elder Merrick stepped forward, robes torn, eyes glowing faintly silver. He was not alone. Behind him stood half a dozen council guards, and Ariana's stomach dropped. Elder Leora, the only one who had ever spoken kindly to her in the council chamber. Elder Merrick. Lucian's tone was pure danger. You dare come here? Merrick smiled coldly. We came to finish what you couldn't. Lucian stepped between Ariana and the elders. You've betrayed your king. No, Merrick hissed, his face twisting with zeal. I've served the moon far longer than you've been alive, boy. You think she'd bind an Alpha to a human? She's testing you, and you've failed. Ariana tried to stand, her knees shaking. You don't understand. The moon didn't choose me to destroy anything. She chose me to restore what was broken. Leora's expression faltered for a second, but Merrick raised his hand, silencing her. Enough. He turned to Lucian. You've let weakness rule you. You've let love corrupt you. So now, I'll set the balance right. Before Lucian could move, Merrick struck the ground with his staff. The ruins trembled. Cracks of dark energy spread across the stones, and shadows rose from them, black smoke taking the shape of wolves. Lucian roared, shifting fully this time, bones breaking, fur bursting through skin until the great black wolf stood before her, eyes burning gold. Ariana staggered back as the clash began, light against shadow, fire against night. Lucian tore through the shadow wolves with feral grace, each strike shaking the ground. But Merrick was stronger than before, his magic feeding on something ancient and foul. A bolt of dark energy struck Lucian across the chest, throwing him back against the stone wall. He hit hard, growling in pain. Lucian. Ariana ran to him, falling beside him, her hands trembling as she pressed against the wound. You can't leave me, she whispered fiercely. Do you hear me? You can't. He coughed, blood streaking his lips, his voice hoarse. It's not my choice, little mate. Her tears burned as they fell onto his skin, and where they touched, the mark on her wrist flared again. The same silver light from before burst between them, stronger, purer, spreading like wildfire. Merrick's eyes widened. No, impossible. The power surged, consuming the darkness around them. The shadow wolves screamed as they burned away. The light reached Merrick, cracking his staff, tearing through his spells. And when the light finally faded, he was gone. Only silence remained. Ariana's body trembled as she collapsed beside Lucian, their hands still entwined. He opened his eyes slowly, the golden glow dim but alive. You saved me. She smiled weakly. Maybe the moon didn't make a mistake after all. He laughed softly, pulling her close. No, she never does. But somewhere deep in the ruins, beneath the broken stones, something pulsed once, faint and red. A whisper in the dark. The curse was not gone. Only sleeping. Dawn broke over the shadow keep like a bleeding wound. The storm had passed, but the world felt heavy, quiet in the way that follows war. Ariana sat beside the fire, her hands trembling as she wrapped fresh bandages around Lucian's chest. He hadn't stirred since the battle ended, his breath shallow, his skin too cold for a creature born of fire. Mira watched silently from across the room, her eyes red-rimmed from exhaustion. The wound wasn't mortal, she said softly, but something lingers in him. Dark magic doesn't fade easily. Ariana's voice cracked. You can heal him, can't you? Mira shook her head. Not this. Whatever that elder unleashed, it wasn't meant to kill. It was meant to change. Ariana froze. Change? Into what? Mira looked at Lucian, sorrow shadowing her face. Into what he fears most. Hours passed. The fire dimmed. Ariana refused to move, her eyes fixed on him, the Alpha King, the man who had terrified and protected her, the one who had turned her world upside down. He looked different now, softer, almost human. His crown lay on the stone table beside her, streaked with dried blood. She reached out, tracing her fingers along his jaw, whispering, Don't you dare leave me. Not after all this. Her touch lingered, and for a moment, she felt it. The bond. The faint pulse of his heartbeat through hers. Then his eyes snapped open. Golden once, they now flickered with a streak of crimson. A low growl rumbled in his throat as his body jerked upright. Ariana stumbled back, startled. Lucian, he gripped the edge of the table, his breathing harsh, his voice distorted, half human, half snarling beast. Stay back. She froze. You're hurt. Please, I said stay back. His voice boomed, shaking the room. The fire flared, responding to his rage. Shadows crawled up the walls like living things. Mira rushed forward, holding out a charm. Your Majesty, listen to me. You're fighting the curse. Lucian slammed his hand against the wall, cracking the stone. No one fights this. It's inside me now. Ariana's heart shattered at the sound of his voice. There was pain there, real, human pain buried beneath the monster's roar. She took a small step closer. Lucian, look at me. He did. And for a heartbeat, she saw it. The man beneath the fury. The king who once whispered her name like a vow. You can fight it, she said softly. Because you're not alone anymore. His hand trembled. The glow in his eyes flickered. Ariana. Then the world tilted. His body collapsed, heavy and still, into her arms. When night returned, the keep felt colder than ever. Mira worked in silence, placing protective runes around the chamber while Ariana sat beside Lucian again, refusing to rest. Outside, the wind whispered secrets through the cracks in the old walls. The forest beyond glowed faintly under the moonlight, unnaturally bright, as though the moon itself watched in mourning. Ariana touched his hand, her voice barely a whisper. You fought for me. Now I'll fight for you. The mark on her wrist shimmered again. Not silver this time, but gold. And somewhere, deep inside Lucian's unconscious mind, the beast stirred. He stood in darkness, alone. The scent of ash and blood filled the air. Shadows whispered his name, taunting him with visions of the past. He saw himself on the throne, surrounded by enemies. He saw Ariana, her body fading into light. And he heard the voice of the moon herself. Love makes kings weak, or divine. Which will you be, Lucian? He roared in defiance, but the voice only laughed. Then prove it. Lucian jolted awake with a gasp, the gold returning to his eyes. His hand shot out, grabbing Ariana's wrist, too hard. She flinched, then realized he wasn't attacking. He was trembling. It's you, he breathed, staring at the glowing mark. You're what's holding me together. Ariana blinked through tears. Then let me help. He shook his head, guilt shadowing his expression. You don't understand. The curse, it's not meant for me alone. It's SPR. Eating through the bond. If I lose control, you'll feel it too. Then don't lose control. Her voice was steady, even as fear burned beneath her skin. Because if you fall, I fall with you. He stared at her for a long time, long enough for the silence to feel like confession. Then his lips parted, a whisper of disbelief in his tone. Why do you keep fighting for me? She smiled faintly through the tears. Because no one ever fought for me before. Outside, the moon rose higher. The light bathed the keep in silver fire. The runes Mira placed began to hum, reacting to the energy between them. Lucian looked out the window, his voice a low murmur. If the prophecy was never about destruction, what if it was about redemption? Ariana stepped beside him. Then maybe we've only seen half of it. He turned toward her slowly, his hand lifting as if drawn by gravity. His fingers brushed her cheek, tentative, reverent. Her heart stuttered in her chest. The world outside faded. The curse, the pain, the prophecy, none of it mattered. Only the sound of his breath, the warmth of his touch, the unspoken truth between them. But before his lips could meet hers, a sound shattered the fragile stillness. A horn. Low. Distant. From the forest below. Mira burst into the chamber, pale as snow. They've found us again. But this time, it's not the council. Lucian's eyes hardened instantly. Then who? Myra's answer came like a dagger. The Moon Guard. The night split open with the sound of war horns. Their echoes rolled through the valley, shaking every stone of the Shadow Keep. Lucian was already on his feet before the echo faded, the remnants of his wounds forgotten. His instincts, Alpha sharp, unrelenting, flared to life. Mira grabbed her staff, runes blazing along its length. The Moon Guard doesn't come uninvited. They're bound by oath. Lucian's jaw tightened. Then they've broken it. Ariana rose, confusion flashing in her eyes. Who are they? Myra's face paled. The firstborn warriors of the Moon Queen. They guard the divine line, those touched by prophecy. They're not here for him. She turned slowly to Ariana. They're here for you. Ariana's breath caught. Me? But the keep's main doors exploded inward before she could finish. Light, silver and blinding, flooded the hall. Figures stepped through the haze, cloaked in moonlight armor, eyes glowing white. The leader's voice was cold, regal, echoing like the wind over a frozen lake. By decree of the Queen of Shadows and Light, Ariana of the Lost Line is to be taken into divine custody. Ariana stumbled back. Lost Line? I don't even know what that means. Lucian stepped in front of her, his aura flaring like wildfire. She's under my protection. The Moonguard's leader didn't blink. Then your curse becomes her due. You'd see her consumed for your defiance? Lucian's eyes burned with fury. I'd see her free. The guard raised their blades. So be it. The air crackled. Fire met moonlight. Lucian moved like a storm, raw, violent, unstoppable. His power shattered through stone and air, meeting the guard's light with burning fury. Mira chanted behind him, weaving protection spells, but even she could see the truth. Lucian was fighting something more than soldiers. He was fighting fate itself. Ariana's pulse raced as the scene blurred, fire and silver clashing, roaring, falling. She tried to run toward him, but Mira grabbed her arm. Don't. He's losing control. Lucian's growl tore through the hall, deeper, darker, not entirely human. His claws raked the air as the curse surged again, feeding on his rage. One of the guards fell, another stumbled, but the leader stood firm, his sword catching Lucian's fire and reflecting it into pure light. Lucian staggered, smoke rising from his skin. The crimson flicker returned to his eyes. Ariana broke free from Mira's hold, running toward him despite the danger. Lucian, listen to me. You're stronger than this. He turned, eyes wild, hands trembling. Get away from me, Ariana. I can't. She didn't stop. She placed her hands on his face, forcing him to look at her. Then don't fight me. Fight with me. The moment her palms touched his skin, gold fire erupted between them. The mark on her wrist and the curse on his chest pulsed in unison. Their energies intertwined, wild, divine, perfect. The moon guard froze. Even Mira stopped breathing. The light spread, shattering the darkness. When it faded, Lucian and Ariana stood together, unburned, unharmed, surrounded by a ring of fire that pulsed like a heartbeat. The leader of the moon guard dropped his weapon, kneeling. It's true. The prophecy has awakened. Lucian's voice was hoarse. What prophecy? The leader lifted his gaze, eyes full of reverence and fear. The moon's last decree, when fire and heart bind under shadow, the curse of the first will end, and the world will be born anew. Mira whispered, the fire-born king, and the heart-marked girl. Ariana shook her head slowly. That can't be me. I'm no one. The leader smiled faintly. Then why does the moon's light bow before you? Outside, the storm returned, this time, of gold rain. Every drop shimmered like tears of light. The flames around Lucian dimmed, leaving only the warmth of her hands in his. He looked down at her, voice low, raw. You risked everything. For me. She met his gaze, her heart in her throat. You would have done the same. He smiled faintly. No, Ariana. I wouldn't have had the courage. The distance between them vanished. The air trembled, not from power, but from emotion too deep for words. But before our lips could meet, Mira gasped. The moon's turning red. They turned toward the window. Above the horizon, the full moon bled crimson, spreading a glow across the land like spilled wine. The leader of the guard rose, voice grim. Then the second prophecy begins. The night the moon turned red, the world stopped breathing. Even the stars seemed to retreat, as if terrified of what they saw rising over the Shadow Keep. Lucian stood at the edge of the balcony, the crimson light painting his scars in gold and blood. His power simmered beneath his skin, wild and restless. He had fought wars, faced betrayal, conquered kingdoms, but this? This was something that made even his alpha blood tremble. Behind him, Ariana stared at the same bleeding moon, her heart twisting with a fear she couldn't name. The fire that had united them still pulsed faintly beneath her skin, reminding her of the power she didn't understand, the bond she hadn't chosen but couldn't deny. Lucian spoke first, his voice low, haunted. The blood moon rises only once every 1,000 years. It marks the day the Shadow Pact is tested, the day a king either redeems his curse or dies by it. Ariana's breath caught. You mean, he turned to her, eyes burning brighter than the moon itself. It means if I fail, the curse will devour me completely. And everyone bound to me will burn with it. The words sliced through the air like a blade. Ariana took a shaky step forward. Then we'll find a way to break it. Together. Lucian smiled faintly, a smile that held both gratitude and despair. Together, he repeated, as if testing the word on his tongue. You still don't understand, do you? This curse isn't just darkness. It's me. It's what I was born from. She met his gaze, refusing to look away. Then I'll learn to love the darkness too. For a moment, silence reigned, soft, fragile, like the space between lightning and thunder. Lucian turned his head slightly, as though afraid that if he looked at her any longer, the fragile control he had left would crumble. You shouldn't say things like that, he murmured. The moon listens. But Ariana didn't care. She stepped closer until their breaths mingled. Then let her listen. Her heart pounded, and so did his. The world around them faded, the guards, the storm, the war brewing beyond the walls. For one stolen heartbeat, there was only them. Then a deep, echoing voice rolled across the sky. The moon itself seemed to speak. The blood moon calls for truth. Ariana stumbled back as the ground beneath them shimmered. Runes appeared in the air, glowing red and gold, spiraling into a circle that surrounded them both. Lucian cursed under his breath. The oath circle, it's begun. What does that mean? It means the moon is demanding a vow. His voice hardened. If I lie, my blood burns. If you lie, your heart stops. Her eyes widened. That's insane. Lucian's jaw clenched. That's the law of the blood moon. It tests the truth between fated souls. Before she could protest, light surged upward, trapping them both in a storm of color. The moon's voice returned, soft now, ancient and sorrowful. Speak what your hearts conceal. For deceit is the death of fate. Ariana's throat tightened. The air shimmered with power, forcing the truth out of her chest whether she wanted it or not. I never wanted to be your mate, she whispered, tears burning her eyes. I wanted my old life back. But every time I try to hate you, I can't, and that terrifies me. Lucian's breath hitched, his heart thundering in his chest. The truth magic pulsed brighter, demanding his confession. I swore I'd never need anyone again, he said softly, his voice breaking. Because needing someone means giving them the power to destroy you. But then you sat in my throne, and suddenly, I wanted to be destroyed. The light around them flickered violently, wrapping tighter until Ariana's knees nearly gave way. Their truths bled into the air, shimmering like molten gold, and the moon's voice whispered once more. The bond is real, but the path is cruel. Lucian caught her before she fell, pulling her against his chest as the magic died down. The runes faded. The night grew still. Ariana looked up at him, trembling. What did it mean? He didn't answer right away. His thumb brushed a tear from her cheek, his gaze heavy with something she couldn't read. It means the moon accepted our truth. But, his hand dropped away. But truth doesn't save us. It only binds us tighter. Far below the keep, the council gathered in secret chambers lit by pale blue fire. Counselor Valen's voice echoed against the stone. The blood moon has chosen. The girl carries the heart flame. The curse responds to her. Another counselor sneered. Then she must die before the prophecy completes. The Alpha King won't allow it. Valen smiled darkly. He won't have a choice. Once the moon calls for sacrifice, even kings must obey. High above them, Ariana woke in her chambers hours later. Her skin still glowed faintly, the mark on her wrist pulsing in rhythm with the moon outside. The memory of Lucian's touch haunted her, the warmth, the honesty, the ache of something she didn't yet understand. She sat up slowly, fingers brushing her chest. The air smelled of smoke and rain, but beneath it, she swore she could still feel him. Then, from the shadows, a whisper brushed her ear. You're not safe here, Ariana. She turned sharply. Mira stood by the window, her eyes glowing faintly violet. What are you talking about? The council, Mira said quietly. They've made their move. The Prefet. Sigh scares them. They think your blood will end the world. Ariana swallowed hard. And you? Do you believe that too? Myra's expression softened. I believe in the girl who touched fire and didn't burn. The palace gates burned with torchlight as Ariana was escorted through the silent halls. Her hands were bound with silver cords, and the air felt thicker with every step. The council had summoned her, not as a guest, but as the accused, the center of a prophecy they feared more than death itself. Ariana's heart pounded. She tried to steady her breath. Why are they afraid of me? Myra's hand brushed hers, reassuring but tense. Because they don't understand what you are, or what you can do. The throne room loomed ahead, its doors carved with ancient runes that seemed to flicker under the blood moon's light. The council waited inside, cloaked in shadows and authority, eyes burning like knives. Elder Merrick stepped forward first, voice sharp and cold. The girl who sits in the Alpha's place must answer for her existence. Ariana's pulse thundered. She swallowed hard. I didn't ask for this. I didn't choose to sit there. Merrick's smile was thin and cruel. Choice matters little to destiny. You carry the heart flame, the spark of prophecy. And the Alpha, the king, will bend or break. At the mention of Lucian, her chest tightened. She knew he would come, but would he come in time? The doors slammed open. Golden light pierced the shadows. Lucian appeared at the entrance, his presence like a living storm. Every council member froze. I warned you, he said, voice low but fierce, leave her be. Merrick laughed, a hollow, mocking sound. The king protects his mate, yet he ignores the moon's decree? Insolence. Lucian's eyes narrowed, gold flashing with deadly intent. The decree does not bind my heart. And you will not harm her. Ariana's gaze fell to the floor. The cords around her wrists pulsed faintly, reacting to the blood moon above. The prophecy was alive, breathing through her. Merrick raised his staff, dark energy spiraling outward. If the Alpha refuses, he will swear the blood moon oath, an oath he cannot break. Only then can balance be restored. Lucian's jaw clenched. I swear no oath that sacrifices her. Merrick's grin widened. Then the moon will force your hand. The chamber trembled. Red light spread across the floor, creeping toward Lucian. His claws extended, but the glow from Ariana's mark flared, linking them. The bond, unstoppable, unbreakable, responded to the blood moon. Ariana gasped. Lucian? He lifted his gaze, meeting hers. Stay with me. Trust me, even if the world tries to tear us apart. The council advanced, chanting in low, ancient tongues. Shadows rose from the floor, curling around Lucian, binding him in chains of dark light. Lucian! Ariana screamed, stepping forward, but Mira held her back. His growl shattered the room. He twisted, pulling against the magical bonds, but the chains burned, feeding on his fury. You'll never control me, he roared, and with a surge of the bond, the golden fire burst forth between him and Ariana. The light exploded outward, sweeping through the council, shattering the chains. Elders stumbled back, some knocked unconscious. Merrick's face twisted in shock. You think this ends it? He hissed. The moon demands an oath. He must swear. Lucian stepped forward, chest heaving, the beast in him threatening to break free. I swear. I will protect her. I will fight the moon itself if I must. But I will not sacrifice the girl who is mine. The blood moon pulsed above them, brighter than ever, and for a moment, the world held its breath. Merrick faltered. Impossible. No Alpha has ever defied the oath. Lucian's eyes burned brighter, the gold overtaking the red. Then I will be the first. The moon guard outside the keep stirred. Their weapons hummed in recognition of his defiance, yet none dared approach. Ariana stepped beside him, her mark glowing, her pulse matching his. You're not alone. He looked down at her, a flash of vulnerability crossing his face. I've never felt stronger, or weaker. Their hands met, the golden light binding them, and the blood moon's power responded, not to curse, but to honor the strength of their bond. Merrick's power faltered, the dark runes crumbling. He backed away, muttering incantations that fizzled into sparks. Lucian's golden gaze never left Ariana. I've taken the oath. Not for the moon. Not for prophecy. For you. The council had no answer. Only silence. And somewhere, beneath the shattered floor, the faint pulse of the curse still lingered, but for now, the Alpha and his mate had won the first battle. The chamber was quiet now, the remnants of the council sprawled across the floor, unconscious or beaten back by the sheer force of the bond. The red light of the blood moon still shone through the shattered windows, painting everything in surreal shades of gold and crimson. Ariana sank to her knees beside Lucian, pressing her hand to his chest. His breathing was steady now, the golden light fading but leaving warmth lingering like fire embers. You did it," she whispered, voice trembling. Lucian looked down at her, a faint, tired smile brushing his lips. "We did it." Her heart ached at the intimacy in those words, the unspoken understanding, the trust, the bond that had been tested in fire, in prophecy, in battle. "You know," she said softly, "the council still thinks they can stop us." He chuckled faintly, though it carried a dangerous edge. "Let them try. The moon may demand the oath, but it will not command my heart." Ariana leaned into him, her forehead resting against his. "Then I'm with you. No matter what comes." Outside, the moon guard watched from the shadows, their eyes filled with awe and something akin to fear. Their leader stepped forward, voice low but filled with reverence. "The prophecy, it is not what we feared. It has chosen correctly." Mira stepped closer to Ariana, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Your bloodline is more than what you were told. You are descended from the first healer, the woman who bound the Alpha's power to the heart of humanity." Ariana's eyes widened. "First healer, that means..." "Yes," Mira said softly. "You carry the flame that can tame even the fiercest curse. You are the key, Ariana. Not just for Lucian, but for the entire realm." Ariana swallowed hard, the weight of the revelation settling over her like both a crown and a burden. Lucian's hand found hers again, intertwining their fingers. "Then we face it together," he said, voice steady. "No prophecy, no curse, no moon decree, nothing will come between us." She looked up at him, her chest tight with emotion. "Together." A sudden roar split the night, the storm beyond the keep had not ended. Lightning flashed, illuminating the distant trees where shadows stirred. Myra's eyes narrowed. That was no ordinary storm. Something else comes. Something waiting, for the bond to falter. Lucian's eyes burned gold once more, the Alpha's aura flaring like wildfire. "Let them come. Let them test us. The bond is stronger than fear, stronger than fate, stronger than any curse." Ariana's pulse matched his, the mark on her wrist glowing faintly in response. She could feel the power coursing between them, tangible and alive. "I won't let go," she whispered. "I never will," he said, voice low, fierce, tender, all at once. For the first time since the blood moon rose, they allowed themselves a moment of quiet. The storm raged outside, but inside the shadow keep, time seemed to hold its breath. Lucian brushed a strand of hair from her face, lingering on her cheek. "You've changed me, Ariana. More than any prophecy, any battle, you've made me human again. And yet, more than human." Ariana's lips trembled. "And you've given me courage I never knew I had. Even if the world demands we fight forever, we'll fight together." He leaned closer, eyes locked on hers. The bond hummed between them, alive and pulsing, as if the moon itself was listening. Ariana's voice caught in her throat. "I love you." Lucian's answer was a whisper against her lips. "And I you, until the stars die." They embraced, letting the warmth of their bond shield them from the shadows that would surely rise again. But for now, for this night, the curse had been defied, the blood moon's oath had been claimed, and two hearts, bound by fire and destiny, had found each other in a world that seemed determined to tear them apart. From the shattered ruins below, the faintest whisper of prophecy echoed in the wind. The bond is eternal. But the shadows are patient. Ariana shivered, gripping Lucian tighter. "Shadows?" He smiled, faint, dark, protective. "Always. But with you, I fear nothing." And in the crimson glow of the blood moon, they stood together, alpha and mate, bond unbroken, hearts ablaze, ready for whatever the world would throw next. The dawn broke with a scream. The shadow keep shuddered beneath the first light of morning, stones rattling and dust rising in choking clouds. Ariana woke to the roar of distant thunder, her pulse spiking as though the storm itself had entered her veins. Lucian was gone. Her heart lurched. She scrambled out of bed, stumbling over the cold stone floor, following the faint trace of golden energy that still lingered in the air. "Lucian?" she called, voice trembling. He appeared at the balcony, a shadow against the rising sun. His silhouette radiated power, wild and untamed. His eyes were golden, but something deeper flickered beneath them, something darker. "Lucian, what's happening?" Ariana ran to him, but he held up a hand, stopping her. "The storm isn't just outside," he said, voice low, roughened by strain. "It's in me, and in you." Ariana's hand instinctively went to her wrist, where her mark still glowed faintly. The pulse of energy between them throbbed in sync with the wind outside, relentless, alive. "Then we face it together," she whispered. Lucien's jaw clenched, the muscles in his shoulders tightening. "You don't understand. The beast, it's waking. The curse isn't fading, it's evolving." Before she could respond, the air around him shimmered violently. Shadows curled around him like living smoke, swirling, hungry. His claws flexed as golden light fought against creeping darkness. Ariana stepped closer, feeling her own power stir, responding to his struggle. "Lucien, trust me. We can control it. Together." He looked down at her, eyes flickering crimson, a dangerous mix of human and beast. "If I lose control, you'll burn with me. I can't risk that." Her gaze didn't waver. "Then don't fight me. Let me fight with you." The air exploded with energy as their bond reacted to the danger, golden light interlacing with the dark storm swirling around him. The balcony trembled, stone dust raining down, but the power between them held firm, a shield against chaos. From the forest below, a figure emerged, a messenger from the realm beyond the mountains. Armor glinting silver and obsidian, the figure's voice carried across the wind. "The council's enemies are not done. The eastern tribes march. They bring fire and death. And they follow the Signa. L of the blood moon." Lucien's eyes narrowed. "Then we fight again. And this time, they'll see why the Alpha King does not bend, and the mate he chooses does not falter." Ariana took a deep breath. "Then let them come. We're ready." Thunder rolled overhead. Lightning split the sky. The Shadow Keep became a beacon of light and power, two hearts bound by fire and fate, ready to face the awakening storm that threatened to consume the world around them. The first wave of distant drums echoed from the valley below. The eastern tribes were coming, and with them, war, shadows, and a test of every truth they had sworn to each other. Lucien's hand found hers. "Hold on tight. No matter what comes, I won't let you go." Her heartbeat matched his, the storm of power and love between them palpable. "Never," she said, voice fierce and unwavering. And as the wind howled, carrying whispers of prophecy and warning, they stood together, ready for the trials that would shape the destiny of both their hearts, and the realm itself. The sun climbed higher, but the crimson light of the blood moon lingered faintly in the clouds, casting the Shadow Keep in an otherworldly glow. Ariana and Lucien stood on the balcony, watching the valley below. Dust and smoke rose in the distance. The eastern tribes had begun their march. Hundreds of warriors, clad in leather and iron, moved in unison, their banners flapping like dark wings in the wind. Lucien's jaw tightened. "They've been waiting for this moment. The blood moon called me, but it called them too. They think the Alpha King is weakened, that all crumble, and that you are just a pawn." Ariana's chest constricted, but she didn't pull away. "Then we show them exactly what a pawn can do." He smiled faintly, but his eyes flickered crimson. "It's not that simple. The beast inside me, it's stirring. Every heartbeat, every thought, every drop of anger, it responds to the storm, to the bloodshed. If I lose control." His voice trailed, raw and dangerous. "I know," Ariana whispered. She reached for his hand, feeling the tremor beneath his skin, the surge of power trying to escape. "But I won't let you. Not ever. We're stronger together." For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. The bond between them pulsed visibly, gold fire intertwining with the crimson shadow around Lucien. The first attack came like a living tide. From the valley, the eastern tribes advanced, thousands of warriors moving with unnatural precision. Horses thundered, metal clanged, and the war cries carried across the hills. Lightning split the sky, illuminating a sea of faces painted in blood and fury. Mira appeared at Ariana's side, staff glowing with faint violet energy. "They're stronger than anything we've faced. But you," she looked at Ariana, eyes wide with awe and something like fear, "your bond will tip the scales." Ariana nodded, her own power thrumming in response to Lucien's. The mark on her wrist blazed, and suddenly she felt everything, the ground trembling beneath them, the storm's electricity, the pulse of life and death in the valley below. Lucien's claws extended as he shifted partially into the beast. Golden fur bristled across his arms, his eyes glowing with a mix of fury and instinctive predatory focus. "Stay close," he growled. "I will," she replied, her voice steady despite the adrenaline racing through her veins. The first wave of enemy scouts reached the keep. Lucian moved like a living shadow, a blur of gold and black, tearing through them with a feral grace that left no room for mercy. Every strike sent sparks of golden light into the storm, scattering the attackers and leaving trails of scorched earth. Ariana felt the bond thrum again, her own latent power rising to meet his. Silver fire flared from her hands, weaving into the chaos like threads of sunlight breaking through clouds. She touched Lucian's shoulder, adding her energy to his. Together, they were unstoppable. But the storm did not yield. A greater threat emerged from the hills, a massive war chariot, drawn by beasts the size of horses but coated in scales and armor. Shadows surrounded it, and from its deck, a figure stepped forward. His armor glowed faintly red, reflecting the blood moon's dying light. Lucian's growl deepened. "That's not human." Ariana's eyes widened. "What is it?" Mira whispered, almost breathless. "A warspawn, sent by the Council's hidden allies. They were preparing this for years. It's drawn from the curse itself." The chariot charged, the ground cracking beneath its weight. The riders, half man, half shadow, screamed as they advanced, a tide of darkness that threatened to swallow the keep. Lucian's claws glowed gold as he leapt forward, fully shifting now. His roar shook the very walls, and the first wave of warspawn met him head-on. Shadows screamed and fell, the golden fire of the Alpha carving paths through them like rivers of light. Ariana moved beside him, hands glowing, chanting under her breath. Her energy intertwined with his, creating a barrier that repelled the smaller attackers. But the bond pulsed painfully, and she realized, this power was dangerous. Every time she poured herself into it, it drained her. "Lucian," she cried, "I can't hold it much longer." He didn't look at her. His focus was absolute, predatory, and terrifying. "Then fight with me, Ariana." "Now." She nodded, digging deep into her bond. Silver flames erupted from her palms, meeting the golden fury of Lucian's claws, enveloping them both in a sphere of light. The storm above seemed to respond, thunder clashing with their combi. Net energy, lightning striking in rhythmic harmony with their heartbeats. The warspawn faltered. Shadows screamed, metal twisted, and for a moment, it seemed victory was theirs. But then a shadow detached itself from the chariot, a massive figure, cloaked in black, eyes glowing crimson. It moved like liquid shadow, twisting through the battlefield toward them. Lucian's growl turned into a snarl of pure fury. The beast? The storm seemed to converge on him, responding to the darkness within. His muscles bulged, fur bristling as the primal part of him, the true alpha beast, started to awaken fully. His eyes flashed crimson gold, claws tearing through the stone floor beneath him. Ariana grabbed his arm, anchoring him. "Lucian, focus. Remember us. Remember me?" His head snapped toward her, eyes wild. I can't, it's too strong." Her voice was fierce, unshakable. "You can. We're the bond. The blood moon didn't curse you, it chose us to end this." The words struck him like lightning. He roared, energy exploding outward, shaking the keep and sending the eastern tribes and warspawn stumbling backward. His body surged, power radiating outward in waves of golden light streaked with crimson. Ariana felt it, every heartbeat, every pulse of energy, her own magic resonating perfectly with him. She threw herself into it fully, the silver and gold flames merging into a torrent of pure light that carved a path through the enemy ranks. Together, they became unstoppable. Alpha and mate, bond unbroken, hearts in sync, the awakening storm incarnate. But deep beneath the chaos, unseen, the Council's hidden forces whispered in shadow, watching, waiting. Their patience was eternal. And the true test, one that would challenge everything Ariana and Lucian had fought for, had yet to begin. The storm above raged with a fury that mirrored the battlefield below. Lightning slashed through the sky, thunder shaking the very foundations of the Shadow Keep. The eastern tribes and the warspawn screamed as they were torn apart by the combined force of Lucian and Ariana. Lucian had fully shifted now. His golden fur bristled along every inch of him, his claws glowing with raw power, eyes ablaze with a mix of fury and desperate control. He roared, a sound that shook the mountains, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. The very wind seemed to obey him, whipping around the keep, tearing trees from the earth and scattering the enemy ranks. Ariana's magic flared in response. Her silver flames wrapped around Lucian, intertwining with his gold fire, forming a protective cocoon that pulsed with energy. Every heartbeat, every breath, every touch reinforced their bond. She shouted over the roar of the storm, her voice strong and unshakable. "Lucian. I'm with you. You are not alone." He snarled, "SNA. PPing a warspawn in half with a single blow. I can feel it, the beast, it wants to rise, but..." His eyes softened slightly, golden fire flickering, crimson shadow fighting for dominance. "I won't lose you." The shadow figure from the chariot advanced, massive, impossible, eyes glowing crimson like twin coals. It moved with fluidity, a nightmare incarnate. Lucian turned toward it, claws raised. The beast inside him stirred fully, muscles tensing, fangs bared. He was no longer merely a man or a king, he was a living storm, a predator of divine power. Ariana stepped forward, hands glowing. "Together, Lucian, we can end this." The shadow figure attacked, striking with speed that belied its size. Lucian met it head-on, claws and teeth colliding with dark steel. Sparks and flames erupted with every strike, shaking the battlefield. The force of his beast form was overwhelming, but the shadow seemed to anticipate every move, slipping around him like water, striking at weak points. Ariana's magic flared again, sending bolts of silver energy into the enemy. They struck true, staggering it briefly. Lucian roared in gratitude and fury, his beast instinct sharpening, senses heightened. He leapt forward, tackling the shadow figure, the two colliding with a deafening crash that shook the keep. The ground cracked beneath them. Lightning struck again, and the storm above seemed to answer their battle cries. Ariana reached out, touching Lucian's chest, pouring her energy into him. The golden fire flared higher, pure and brilliant, pushing back the darkness. "Lucian, you are stronger than this curse. Let it burn away," she screamed, tears streaming down her face. The Alpha King's roar tore through the valley as his claws sank into the shadow figure, light exploding from the contact. The crimson of the blood moon streaked across the sky, as if the heavens themselves were lending their power. The shadow faltered, weakened by the combined force of bond and magic. Lucian, eyes blazing gold and crimson, drove it back, the beast within him fully awake now but under control. His movements were fluid, precise, unstoppable. With one final roar, Lucian slammed the shadow figure into the ground, the impact sending a shockwave across the battlefield. The figure dissolved into nothingness, smoke and shadow swirling away into the storm. Ariana collapsed into his arms, trembling with exhaustion and adrenaline. Lucian held her close, breathing heavily, his golden eyes softening as the storm began to ebb. We did it," she whispered, heart pounding. He pressed his forehead to hers, voice low and hoarse. "No, you did it. Without you, I would have lost control. The beast, the curse, it would have consumed me." Her hand rose to touch his cheek, fingers trembling. "We did it together. Lucian, always together." The storm began to subside, lightning retreating, the wind calming. The battlefield was quiet now, littered with broken weapons and scattered enemies, the remnants of the eastern tribes fleeing into the distance. The warspawn were gone, dissolved by the combined power of their bond. Lucian set Ariana down gently, brushing the hair from her face. His eyes flickered with emotion, love, relief, exhaustion, and awe. "The beast, it's awake now. But it listens, because you're here. Because of you." Ariana felt the warmth of his words, her heart swelling. "Then we face whatever comes next, together." Above them, the blood moon faded, leaving a pale, silver glow over the shadow keep. The prophecy had tested them, and for now, they had survived. But Ariana knew in her heart that this was only the beginning. The council, hidden in the shadows, watched from afar. Their whispers carried across the valleys. "The Alpha has risen fully, but the mate's power is greater than we imagined. The awakening storm has only begun." Ariana looked up at Lucian, chest still pounding, energy still flowing between them. What now? She asked. He smiled faintly, brushing her cheek with the back of his hand. Now, we rest. And prepare. The storm will return. And when it does, we'll meet it together. Their lips met in a tender, fiery kiss, the bond between them solidified by blood, magic, and love. The world outside could wait. For this moment, for this night, nothing existed but them. And somewhere deep within the mountains, the faintest tremor of shadow whispered, "The awakening storm is far from over. The true test comes next." The morning after the awakening storm was eerily quiet. The shadow keep seemed almost unreal in the soft silver light filtering through the shattered windows. Outside, the valley was scarred, the earth torn from the fury of the battle, but the storm had passed, for now. Ariana walked beside Lucian through the ruined halls, her hand never leaving his. The bond between them pulsed faintly, gold and silver light threading between their intertwined fingers. Every step reminded her of the power that now coursed through them both, the strength of the Alpha, the mate's magic, and the tether that neither prophecy nor curse could break. Lucian's gaze was fixed on the distant horizon, eyes flickering with gold and crimson. "The storm has awakened me fully," he murmured, voice low, roughened by the memory of battle. "But something else waits, something older, something patient. The Council's enemies are still out there." Ariana's heart tightened. "You mean the Shadowborn?" He nodded. "Yes. They were watching, waiting for me to lose control. And now they will come for you." Her pulse spiked. "For me? For both of us," he said, voice daw. "Our kenning. They fear the bond. They fear what we are now. And the blood moon, it only amplifies their power. The closer it gets to full alignment, the stronger they become." Ariana swallowed hard. "Then we prepare. We don't wait for them to strike." Lucian's jaw tightened. "Good. Because waiting gets people killed." They made their way to the inner sanctum, a room protected by ancient wards and enchanted barriers. Mira was there, pacing, her violet eyes reflecting concern. "You should not have stayed out there," she said, voice sharp. "Your bond is powerful, yes, but even that kind of energy attracts attention. The Shadowborn do not forgive weakness." Ariana stepped forward. "Then teach me. Teach me to fight with him. To protect him. To protect us." Mira studied her carefully, expression softening. "Very well. But know this, the power you carry is unpredictable. The bond amplifies it, yes, but it can also consume you. Lucian's beast has awakened fully. If you falter, even a moment, it will not hold back." Lucian reached for Ariana, his fingers brushing hers. "I'll control it. With you. Always with you." Her heart ached at his words. "Then let's learn together." The next hours passed in a blur of training, meditation, and preparation. The inner sanctum became a forge, shaping their power, testing their bond. Lucian demonstrated control over the beast form, shifting partially, then fully, teaching Ariana how to channel her silver flames to stabilize his golden fury. Each strike, each wave of energy, made their connection stronger, more precise. "You feel that?" Lucian asked, breathing hard after a particularly intense session. "Your power, it's alive in me. It calms the beast, but it also strengthens it. If you push too far, the flames can consume both of us." Ariana nodded, sweat glistening on her brow. "Then we'll push together, carefully. But we won't hold back when it matters." Mira observed quietly, impressed and wary. "They are not just training, they are evolving. The bond is reaching its peak, and soon, it will surpass even the blood moon's decree." Evening fell, bringing shadows that whispered along the walls. The keep's corridors were silent, but outside, faint movement stirred. Figures cloaked in darkness slipped through the forests surrounding the valley. The Shadowborn had come, patient, relentless, waiting for the moment when both the Alpha and the mate would grow complacent. Ariana sensed it first, a shiver running along her spine, hairs standing on end. The bond pulsed urgently, warning her. "Lucian?" He was already on his feet, senses sharp. "I know." The shadows coalesced at the edge of the keep, revealing themselves in waves. Creatures born of dark magic, some humanoid, others monstrous, eyes glowing red and green, teeth bared in unnatural snarls. Their leader stepped forward, a tall figure in obsidian armor, crowned with spikes that seemed to drink the silver light. "Alpha King," it hissed, voice like smoke and metal. "Your bond has awakened. That is a threat the world cannot allow." Lucian's eyes blazed gold and crimson, claws extending. Then let them come. They will learn why the mate I choose is not a weakness, but my strength. Ariana stepped forward beside him, silver flames erupting around her, intertwining with his golden aura. We are ready, she said, voice unwavering. The Shadowborn leader's laughter cut through the air. Ready? The awakening storm is only the beginning. We will break the bond, or die trying. Lucian growled low, almost a whisper, but every creature present felt it. Try us. But know this, we will burn everything you touch. The first wave surged forward, shadows colliding with their combined energy. The keep shook with the force of the battle. Lucian's beast form moved with terrifying precision, golden fire slicing through dark magic, claws tearing through shadowy bodies. Ariana's flames wove through his attacks, stabilizing him, amplifying the strikes, protecting him from backlash. They moved as one, two hearts, two souls, fused into a single force. The bond pulsed, visible as a stream of golden-silver light connecting them, every heartbeat sending waves of power across the battlefield. But the Shadowborn were relentless. More came from the forests, faster, stronger, fueled by dark magic that seemed to anticipate every move. The leader's presence was growing, its influence spreading across the valley, making every strike heavier, every shadow stronger. Lucian roared, shifting fully into the Alpha beast. Ariana, now. All of it. She reached deep, channeling her full power into the bond, into him, into the storm. Silver fire surged into golden flames, exploding outward in a wave of light that flattened the closest ranks of the Shadowborn. The keep trembled. Stones cracked. Lightning split the sky. And at that moment, Ariana realized, the bond was no longer just protection. It was evolution. They were no longer fighting as two separate beings. They were one, a force that neither prophecy nor shadow could divide. The battlefield around the Shadow Keep was chaos incarnate. The ground trembled beneath the pounding of the Shadowborn horde. Dark magic crackled like lightning through the air, mixing with the gold and silver flames of Lucian and Ariana. Lucian's beast form was terrifying in its perfection. Golden fur bristled along every inch of him, claws tearing through shadows, fangs gleaming as he tore apart wave after wave of enemies. Yet, even as he fought, the beast inside him roared for freedom, feral, unstoppable, hungry for destruction. Ariana moved along. Beside him, flames of silver weaving through his attacks, her own power growing stronger with every strike. The bond between them pulsed visibly, a ribbon of gold and silver connecting their hearts. Every time she poured herself into him, the Alpha's control strengthened, but the effort left her breathless, trembling from the sheer force of it. Lucian, she called over the roar of battle. I can feel it, the bond, it's ready for more. He looked down at her, eyes flickering gold and crimson, his chest heaving. Then let's end this. Together, completely. Ariana channeled everything into the bond, the fire in her heart, the pulse of her magic, the strength of every truth she had spoken, every fear she had faced. The silver flames surged into him, intertwining with the golden aura of his beast form until the two were indistinguishable, a single force of raw power. The Shadowborn leader stepped forward, its presence dark and oppressive. Its armor glinted in the dim light, spikes jutting like jagged teeth. Crimson eyes burned through the smoke and chaos. You think your bond can stop me? It hissed. The blood moon awakens all, but it also punishes arrogance. Lucian growled low, claws flexing. We don't fear the moon or you. We fear nothing you can throw at us. The leader laughed, a sound like grinding metal. Foolish Alpha. You are strong, but your mate is the key. Take her from me, and your beast will consume itself. Ariana's heart jumped, but she didn't falter. She met Lucian's gaze, feeling the bond tighten. Then we fight together. Always. With a roar, Lucian launched himself at the Shadowborn leader, golden fire exploding from his body, shadow tendrils recoiling under the pure force of the bond. Ariana followed immediately, silver flames trailing, entwining with him, their combined energy striking with the weight of a storm. The leader met them head-on, and the collision shook the ground like an earthquake. Shadows and flames clashed, the sound deafening. The Shadowborn leader's power was immense, and the two of them were pushed back, struggling against the sheer force. You cannot hold us, Lucian roared, teeth bared. Ariana pressed herself against him, pouring more power into the bond. Her voice rang out above the chaos. We are one. And you will never break us. A golden-silver explosion erupted from their connection, obliterating the nearest enemies, sending waves of energy cascading across the battlefield. The Shadowborn leader staggered, stunned by the sheer magnitude of the bond. Lucian seized the opportunity, claws glowing brighter than ever, teeth sinking into the dark armor of the leader. Shadows sizzled and hissed as golden fire met black, light overwhelming dark. You cannot stop us? Ariana screamed, flames enveloping both of the feeding the bond, feeding the Alpha's beast, feeding herself. The Shadowborn leader staggered, its form flickering. Its armor cracked, shadowy flesh beneath struggling to hold shape. With a final, ferocious strike, Lucian tore through its defenses, and Ariana unleashed a concentrated wave of silver-gold energy. The leader screamed, a sound that split the air, and then it shattered, dissolving into smoke and shards of darkness. The battlefield fell silent. The remaining Shadowborn fled, scattering into the forests and hills beyond. The storm above began to calm, lightning dimming, thunder echoing only faintly. Lucian collapsed to his knees, breathing heavily, beast form receding slowly, golden fire dimming to normal alpha glow. Ariana rushed to him, hands trembling as she touched his face. Lucian, are you? I'm fine, he said, voice hoarse but steady, his golden eyes softening. Because of you. The bond kept me in control. You saved me. Her chest rose and fell, relief and exhaustion mingling. No, we saved each other. Always. Mira appeared beside them, eyes wide. The Shadowborn leader is gone, but be warned. There are others. Patience is their weapon. The true threat has not yet revealed itself. Lucian's jaw tightened. Then we prepare. The awakening storm. This is only the beginning. Ariana took a deep breath, feeling the residual energy of the battle coursing through her veins. The bond pulsed, alive, stronger than ever. She could feel every heartbeat, every breath of Lucian's alpha power resonating with her own. She looked up at him, determination blazing in her eyes. Whatever comes next, we'll face it together. No matter how strong, no matter how dark. Lucian smiled faintly, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Together, he whispered, and their lips met in a kiss that burned with the intensity of the storm and the calm of their bond, a promise that nothing could sever. Above them, the pale silver light of the blood moon lingered in the clouds, faintly glowing, a reminder that fate had not yet abandoned them. Shadows moved in distant forests, whispering threats that would test them again. But for this moment, for this night, Lucian and Ariana stood unbroken, their hearts aligned, their power fused, and their love a shield stronger than any magic or prophecy. And deep in the darkness, the faintest whisper of a new enemy stirred, watching, waiting, the true test of the bond was coming. The Shadow Keep was silent now, the battlefield cleared, but the air still hummed with the residue of magic and fury. Ariana and Lucian walked through the hallways, side by side, but neither spoke. Their minds were still tangled with the echoes of the awakening storm, the lingering heat of the battle, and the bond that throbbed between them like a live-ing heartbeat. Ariana's fingers brushed against the walls, feeling the faint pulse of ancient wards. She stopped suddenly, eyes widening as her mark flared stronger than ever. Lucian, something's calling me, she whispered. He froze, golden eyes narrowing. Where? To the old vault beneath the keep, she said, voice tight with emotion. I've never felt this before. It's like my blood knows it belongs there. Lucian's brow furrowed, instincts warning him, but he didn't stop her. Then we go. Together. They descended into the keep's hidden vaults, torchlight flickering against the ancient stones. The air grew heavy, dense with centuries of magic, the walls carved with runes that glowed faintly as Ariana approached. The bond thrummed between them, warning and guiding simultaneously. At the heart of the vault was a pedestal. On it rested a crystalline orb, pulsating with silver-gold light, almost alive. Ariana's breath caught. Her mark burned in resonance with it. This is mine? She asked, voice trembling. Mira stepped beside them, appearing seemingly out of nowhere. Not yours alone, Ariana. Yours and his. This is the heart flame, the power of the first healer. It has been waiting for the one who could awaken it fully with the Alpha King. Ariana reached out, trembling, and the orb reacted immediately, beams of energy shooting into her mark. She gasped, falling to her knees as the bond with Lucian surged violently, golden and silver light weaving into a blazing halo around them both. Lucian stepped closer, placing his hands on her shoulders. Hold on to me. Focus on us. Together. The heart flame surged further, energy coursing into Ariana and Lucian simultaneously. She saw visions, shards of the past, the first healer binding the Alpha's power, warnings of shadows yet to come, and a prophecy hidden from the council. Her voice shook. Lucian, the prophecy, it's bigger than we thought. It's not just about the bond, it's about the survival of all Alpha and mate lines. If we fail, the world falls into shadow. Lucian's jaw clenched, beast instincts flaring in response to the danger. The golden fire around him pulsed violently. Then we don't fail. Not while I breathe. Not while I'm Alpha. Not while you are mine. But the power of the heart flame was overwhelming. Lucian's beast growled, straining against the surge, instincts threatening to override his control. Ariana's silver flames flared to stabilize him, but even together, the pressure was immense. I can't hold him, she cried, voice breaking. He locked eyes with her, golden and crimson, fierce and vulnerable at once. Then don't. Fight with me. Let me share it, let me trust you. The bond pulsed, light bursting outward, shaking the vault, throwing shadows and dust into the air. Lucy. N's claws dug into the stone floor, golden fire roaring from him, but Ariana's calm strength anchored him. Slowly, together, they balanced the immense surge. The heart flame hovered between them, radiating silver-gold brilliance. And then, just as suddenly, it shattered into 1,000 shards, embedding themselves into the bond, making it stronger, brighter, almost alive. Ariana gasped, leaning against Lucian. We did it. The heart flame, it's ours. Fully. Lucian's golden eyes softened, but a flicker of unease remained. Yes, but I feel it. Something else, watching, waiting. The Shadowborn are gone for now, but they are not finished. Ariana's heart tightened. Then we prepare. But now we are stronger. We can't lose. Myra's voice cut through the quiet, tense and urgent. The heart flame will not protect you from what comes next. There are secrets yet hidden, forces beyond even your bond. The true Shadowborn leader will reveal himself soon, and he will not wait. A faint rumble echoed beneath the keep. Shadows flickered unnaturally in the corners of the vault. The heart flame's light dimmed momentarily as if sensing danger. Lucian's claws flexed. I'll protect you. No one harms my mate. Not now, not ever. Ariana took a deep breath, feeling the full extent of their power, of their bond, and of the heart flame coursing through her. And I'll fight with you. Always. Outside the vault, the wind howled. A single red flash streaked across the sky, the signal of the Shadowborn's ultimate return. Lucian and Ariana shared a glance, tension and unspoken fear in their eyes, but also determination. Whatever awaited them, they would face it together. Their bond, their love, their combined power was unstoppable, but the true test of the Shadow's edge was just beginning. And somewhere deep beyond the mountains, unseen eyes watched, whispering, "The mate is awake, the Alpha fully risen, and the world will tremble before what comes next." The shadow keep lay quiet under the pale silver light of the waning blood moon. But the calm was deceptive. The air trembled with an invisible weight, a tension that pressed on Ariana's chest like a living thing. "Something's coming," she whispered, eyes scanning the horizon beyond the shattered walls. Lucian stood beside her, alpha form partially shifted, golden fur bristling along his shoulders. His claws flexed, eyes scanning, every muscle taut with anticipation. "I know," he said, voice low, fierce, a growl underlying every word. "I can feel it. The Shadowborn, they've been waiting. And their leader, he's coming." Ariana's heart raced. The bond pulsed, a steady thrum of warning and power. She could feel it in her veins, in her bones, in every heartbeat of the Alpha beside her. "Together," it whispered. "Together we are unstoppable." The first sign was subtle, a ripple in the shadows beyond the valley. But it grew quickly. Darkness gathered, twisting like a living tide, and from it emerged a figure taller and more terrifying than anything Ariana had seen. Cloaked in black armor that seemed to drink the moonlight, the Shadowborn leader's eyes glowed crimson, piercing the battlefield with a predatory focus. Lucian growled, shifting fully into his alpha form. "Stay close," he warned, claws extending. Do not let go of the bond. Ariana stepped forward, silver flames igniting in her palms. I won't, she said, voice trembling with equal parts fear and determination. The Shadowborn leader's laugh echoed across the valley, low and cruel. Alpha King, he hissed. You've grown stronger, your mate awakens, but this is where it ends. Lucian's roar shook the earth, golden light blazing around him. Not today. Not ever. The bond cannot be broken. The first wave of shadow warriors surged forward, moving faster than the eye could follow. Lucian leapt into them, claws slicing through darkness, golden fire exploding outward, shredding the enemy ranks. Ariana moved alongside him, silver flames weaving through his attacks, anchoring him, feeding his strength, protecting him from the shadows that sought to overpower him. The Shadowborn leader watched, amusement flickering over his crimson eyes. Impressive, he said, voice like grinding metal. But the true trial lies within. Alpha King, your beast hungers. Will you control it, or will it devour all, including your mate? Lucian growled, eyes flickering gold and crimson. The beast within him stirred, muscles tensing, fangs bared, raw power threatening to explode. I will not fail her. Not now. Not ever. Ariana felt the surge of his beast within the bond. Her heart pounded, fear and love intertwining. She placed her hand on his chest, feeling the golden heartbeat, feeling the fire and the shadow. You're not alone, Lucian. I'm here. Always. We fight together. The alpha beast roared, responding to her words. Slowly, control returned. The golden fire stabilized, crimson shadows retreating into harmony with his human heart. The battle escalated. Shadows collided with their flames, magic crackled, the keep shook under the intensity of the clash. Ariana could feel the heart flame within her, resonating with the alpha's power, strengthening every strike, every movement, every heartbeat of the bond. Lucian's claws tore through the shadow ranks, golden streaks of light slicing like lightning. Ariana's silver flames wove through the chaos, binding him, anchoring him, ensuring the beast within remained tethered. They moved as one, heart, mind, and power perfectly synchronized. Every attack was a conversation, every block a promise, every strike a declaration. We are unstoppable together. But the Shadowborn leader was patient. He waited, watching, analyzing, until the moment was perfect. Then he struck directly at Lucian, not with shadows, but with a curse designed to sever the bond. Lucian roared, caught off guard. Crimson shadows erupted around him, striking at Ariana's connection. Pain lanced through the bond, threatening to tear them apart. Ariana cried out, pouring everything into the bond: love, trust, fire, magic. Silver flames collided with crimson shadows, a storm of light and dark erupting across the keep. She screamed, voice raw and desperate, Lucian, fight with me. We are one. Golden fire flared, merging with silver light, and the bond pulsed violently, stronger than ever. Lucian's beast form surged forward, claws and fangs striking the Shadowborn leader, who staggered under the force of their unity. The shadows faltered, dissolving as the alpha and mate stood unyielding. But the leader remained, smirking, crimson eyes gleaming with malice. You have won the battle, but the war is far from over. Lucian knelt beside Ariana, golden light fading slightly, crimson flickering still in his eyes. Are you okay? He asked, voice low, vulnerable beneath the alpha power. She nodded, breathless, hand still on his chest. I am, because of you. Because of us. Mira appeared, eyes wide with awe. You have passed the first trial, but this was only a taste. The true Shadowborn power has yet to be revealed. They are patient. They are cunning. The heart flame is yours, but so is the danger that comes with it. Ariana and Lucian exchanged a glance, tension and determination in equal measure. Whatever the Shadowborn had planned next, they would face it together. The bond, the love, the fire between them, it was unbreakable. But beyond the horizon, a storm brewed. Darker than before, whispering promises of vengeance. And the true Shadowborn leader, the one who had been hidden in shadows, smiled knowingly, watching the bond, watching the Alpha King and his mate, and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The wind howled through the shattered halls of the Shadow Keep, carrying the scent of smoke, magic, and lingering blood. The battlefield beyond was quiet now, but the storm of tension inside the keep was deafening. Lucian stood at the center of the inner courtyard, fully shifted, claws digging into the stone floor. Golden fur bristled along his arms and back, eyes flashing gold and crimson, a predator poised for the kill. Ariana hovered nearby, silver flames spiraling around her hands, the heart flame pulsing between them like a living heartbeat. Her mark glowed brighter than ever, resonating with Lucian's beastly energy. The Shadowborn leader stepped forward from the shadows, tall, cloaked. Red eyes piercing the night. "Alpha King," it hissed. "You have grown strong, but the true trial awaits. Can you maintain control when everything you love is threatened?" Lucian's roar shook the keep, reverberating across the courtyard. "I control my beast. My mate is by my side. Nothing can break us." The Shadowborn leader laughed, dark and hollow, and with a single gesture, the shadows surged, erupting into a storm of dark energy that wrapped around Lucian, pushing him to his limits. Ariana's heart raced. The bond pulsed violently, screaming warnings. She felt the beast within him strain, fangs bared, instincts clawing for dominance. "Lucian, focus on me, on us," he snarled, claws tearing through the shadows, golden fire blazing. I won't let go." The Shadowborn leader struck again, this time targeting Ariana directly. Dark tendrils of cursed energy shot toward her, and she gasped, realizing her full power was needed. Her silver flames erupted, feeding into the bond, wrapping around Lucian's golden aura, merging the two forces into a tornado of light that clashed against the darkness. The energy was overwhelming. The heart flame between them pulsed violently, sending waves across the courtyard, shaking the ground. Ariana could feel it, every heartbeat, every breath, every pulse of Lucian's alpha energy connecting with hers. "Lucian," she screamed, tears streaming. "We are one. The bond cannot be broken." His golden eyes softened through the crimson glow, and with a primal roar, he pushed back the Shadowborn energy. His claws struck the leader, golden fire exploding outward, melting shadows, shredding dark magic, and forcing the enemy to retreat momentarily. Ariana surged forward, silver flames intertwining with golden light, and together, they struck as one, heart, mind, and power perfectly synchronized. The Shadowborn leader staggered, red eyes widening in shock. "Impossible, the bond, it is stronger than predicted." Lucian's voice was a low growl, feral and full of dominance. "You underestimated us. You underestimated the mate, and you underestimated the Alpha King." Ariana's chest heaved, exhaustion threatening to overwhelm her, but she pressed forward. Every ounce of her strength, every spark of the heart flame, flowed into the bond. She could feel the beast within Lucian now fully awake but fully controlled, responding to her calm strength, to the trust between them. The Shadowborn leader, realizing it could not break them through force, attempted one final, desperate strike, an attack aimed to sever the bond entirely. Dark energy lashed out, striking Lucian's chest and Ariana's hands simultaneously. Pain exploded through the connection, sharp and blinding. Lucian roared, claws flexing, golden fire surging uncontrollably. The beast inside him struggled for dominance, muscles bulging, fangs bared, raw instinct threatening to consume everything. Ariana pressed herself against him, silver flames wrapping them together. "You are not alone. I am here, always." The bond responded with unimaginable force. Golden and silver light fused into a blinding surge, the heart flame exploding outward, creating a dome of energy that disintegrated the Shadowborn's final attack. The enemy staggered, dissolving into shadows that screamed and scattered across the valley. Lucian fell to his knees, breathing heavily, beast form slowly receding. Ariana collapsed beside him, trembling, hands gripping his chest. We did it," she whispered, voice raw and unsteady. He lifted his head, golden eyes softening, crimson fading. "Yes, together. The beast, the curse, it listens now. Because of you. Because of us." Ariana pressed her forehead to his, feeling the bond pulsing stronger than ever. "We are stronger together, nothing can break us." The heart flame hovered between them, now stable, glowing with an intensity neither had expected. Its silver gold light illuminated the shattered courtyard, a beacon of their combined power. Mira appeared beside them, eyes wide with awe. "You have surpassed the first true trial. The Shadowborn leader is defeated for now, but know this. The ultimate challenge is yet to come." The bond is strong, the heart flame awakened, but the world beyond the keep waits. Shadows still gather, and the forces aligned against you are patient, cunning, and merciless. Lucian lifted Ariana, holding her close, golden fire softly glowing around them both. Whatever comes next, we face it together. No one will harm you. No one will break us. Ariana's heart surged, tears streaming, emotions overwhelming her. Together, always. Above them, the blood moon faded, leaving a soft silver glow. The battlefield was quiet for now, but beyond the mountains, the faintest whisper of shadow stirred, a reminder that the true heart of darkness was not yet defeated. And somewhere in the distance, the Shadowborn leader's voice echoed faintly, carried on the wind. The Alpha King and his mate have survived, but the heart of the shadow waits. And soon, they will learn the true cost of power, love, and destiny. The wind howled through the shattered halls of the Shadow Keep, carrying the scent of smoke, magic, and lingering blood. The battlefield beyond was quiet now, but the storm of tension inside the keep was deafening. Lucian stood at the center of the inner courtyard, fully shifted, claws digging into the stone floor. Golden fur bristled along his arms and back, eyes flashing gold and crimson, a predator poised for the kill. Ariana hovered nearby, silver flames spiraling around her hands, the heart flame pulsing between them like a living heartbeat. Her mark glowed brighter than ever, resonating with Lucian's beastly energy. The Shadowborn leader stepped forward from the shadows, tall, cloaked, red eyes piercing the night. "Alpha King," it hissed. "You have grown strong, but the true trial awaits. Can you maintain control when everything you love is threatened?" Lucian's roar shook the keep, reverberating across the courtyard. "I control my beast. My mate is by my side. Nothing can break us." The Shadowborn leader laughed, dark and hollow, and with a single gesture, the shadows surged, erupting into a storm of dark energy that wrapped around Lucian, pushing him to his limits. Ariana's heart raced. The bond pulsed violently, screaming warnings. She felt the beast within him strain, fangs bared, instincts clawing for dominance. "Lucian, focus on me, on us," he snarled, claws tearing through the shadows, golden fire blazing. I won't let go." The Shadowborn leader struck again, this time targeting Ariana directly. Dark tendrils of cursed energy shot toward her, and she gasped, realizing her full power was needed. Her silver flames erupted, feeding into the bond, wrapping around Lucian's golden aura, merging the two forces into a tornado of light that clashed against the darkness. The energy was overwhelming. The heart flame between them pulsed violently, sending waves across the courtyard, shaking the ground. Ariana could feel it, every heartbeat, every breath, every pulse of Lucian's alpha energy connecting with hers. "Lucian," she screamed, tears streaming. "We are one. The bond cannot be broken." His golden eyes softened through the crimson glow, and with a primal roar, he pushed back the Shadowborn energy. His claws struck the leader, golden fire exploding outward, melting shadows, shredding dark magic, and forcing the enemy to retreat momentarily. Ariana surged forward, silver flames intertwining with golden light, and together, they struck as one, heart, mind, and power perfectly synchronized. The Shadowborn leader staggered, red eyes widening in shock. "Impossible, the bond, it is stronger than predicted." Lucian's voice was a low growl, feral and full of dominance. "You underestimated us. You underestimated the mate, and you underestimated the Alpha King." Ariana's chest heaved, exhaustion threatening to overwhelm her, but she pressed forward. Every ounce of her strength, every spark of the heart flame, flowed into the bond. She could feel the beast within Lucian now fully awake but fully controlled, responding to her calm strength, to the trust between them. The Shadowborn leader, realizing it could not break them through force, attempted one final, desperate strike, an attack aimed to sever the bond entirely. Dark energy lashed out, striking Lucian's chest and Ariana's hands simultaneously. Pain exploded through the connection, sharp and blinding. Lucian roared, claws flexing, golden fire surging uncontrollably. The beast inside him struggled for dominance, muscles bulging, fangs bared, raw instinct threatening to consume everything. Ariana pressed herself against him, silver flames wrapping them together. "You are not alone. I am here, always." The bond responded with unimaginable force. Golden and silver light fused into a blinding surge, the heart flame exploding outward, creating a dome of energy that disintegrated the Shadowborn's final attack. The enemy staggered, dissolving into shadows that screamed and scattered across the valley. Lucian fell to his knees, breathing heavily, beast form slowly receding. Ariana collapsed beside him, trembling, hands gripping his chest. We did it," she whispered, voice raw and unsteady. He lifted his head, golden eyes softening, crimson fading. "Yes, together. The beast, the curse, it listens now. Because of you. Because of us." Ariana pressed her forehead to his, feeling the bond pulsing stronger than ever. "We are stronger together, nothing can break us." The heart flame hovered between them, now stable, glowing with an intensity neither had expected. Its silver gold light illuminated the shattered courtyard, a beacon of their combined power. Mira appeared beside them, eyes wide with awe. "You have surpassed the first true trial. The Shadowborn leader is defeated for now, but know this, the ultimate challenge is yet to come. The bond is strong, the heart flame awakened, but the world beyond the keep waits. Shadows still gather, and the forces aligned against you are patient, cunning, and merciless." Lucian lifted Ariana, holding her close, golden fire softly glowing around them both. "Whatever comes next, we face it together. No one will harm you. No one will break us." Ariana's heart surged, tears streaming, emotions overwhelming her. Together, always. Above them, the blood moon faded, leaving a soft silver glow. The battlefield was quiet for now, but beyond the mountains, the faintest whisper of shadow stirred, a reminder that the true heart of darkness was not yet defeated. And somewhere in the distance, the Shadowborn leader's voice echoed faintly, carried on the wind. "The Alpha King and his mate have survived, but the heart of the shadow waits. And soon, they will learn the true cost of power, love, and destiny." The first wave of Shadowborn crashed against the gates of the keep like a tidal wave of darkness. Their red eyes glowed through the mist, claws and weapons striking with unnatural speed and precision. But the keep was ready. Lucian's warriors stood firm, weapons alight with magic, ready to protect the bond that now defined the future of their world. Lucian roared, shifting fully into his alpha beast form, golden fur bristling, eyes blazing gold and crimson. The ground shook under his paws, fire erupting with every step. "Do not falter. Hold the line." Ariana surged forward beside him, silver flames weaving through his golden aura, intertwining, pulsing, a living testament to their bond. Every strike, every wave of fire strengthened the connection, anchoring the Alpha's beast, keeping his fury under control. The Shadowborn struck with cunning now, testing the limits of both their power and the heart flame. Dark tendrils whipped at Ariana, aiming for the source of her energy. She shouted, silver fire erupting with blinding intensity, "You will not touch him. You will not break us." Lucian's claws tore through shadows with precision, golden fire melting the darkness as he growled, a deep, primal sound that resonated in every heart around them. Together, he bellowed, eyes locking with hers, hearts connected in the pulse of the bond. The battlefield shifted. Allies arrived from every corner, other alphas, warriors of light, creatures bound by ancient magic, all answering the call of the bond between mate and Alpha King. They charged into the fray, magic and steel colliding with the Shadowborn in a symphony of chaos. Ariana moved with precision now, her confidence growing. She could feel the heart flame responding to every attack, to every move of Lucian, amplifying their combined energy, stabilizing his beast, guiding every strike. The Shadowborn leader watched, a dark smile curling across its face. "The bond grows, but power alone cannot protect you. Fear, doubt, loss, these will be your undoing." Lucian growled, charging toward the leader, claws blazing. "You have underestimated us for the last time." Ariana pressed close to him, her silver flames wrapping around his golden fire, amplifying it into a blazing storm that tore through the first line of Shadowborn attackers. "We are one," she screamed. "And we will not fall." The Shadowborn leader struck with a surge of dark energy, targeting Lucian directly. The Alpha stumbled for the first time, golden fire flickering as the beast within him struggled against the curse. Ariana's hands shot forward, silver flames colliding with the darkness, the bond pulsing violently as they fought to maintain control. "Lucian," she cried, voice raw. I am here, always, together. Golden and silver light exploded outward, engulfing the courtyard in a wave of energy that threw back the Shadowborn. The leader hissed in fury, staggering, and the remaining dark forces faltered, momentarily overwhelmed by the intensity of their bond. Lucien's chest heaved, crimson and gold eyes glowing. We can't stop now, not while they linger. Ariana nodded, Deet. RMI nation flaring. Then we fight. Everything we are, everything we have, together. The second wave came faster, more organized, stronger. But now the tide of battle had shifted. Allies fought alongside them, matching shadow with steel and magic. Lucien's beast form became a whirlwind of golden fire, tearing through enemies while Ariana's silver flames stabilized him, protected him, guided him. Every heartbeat, every pulse of the bond, every flicker of the heart flame made them unstoppable. Even the Shadowborn leader began to falter, unable to break the unity of the Alpha and his mate. In the midst of the chaos, Lucien caught Ariana's gaze, his voice cutting through the roar of battle. This is what I was meant for, this moment, with you. She smiled, exhaustion and exhilaration mingling, flames of silver wrapping around his golden fire. And I was meant for you. Always. The Shadowborn leader roared, gathering its remaining energy for a final strike. This ends tonight. Your bond, your power, it will burn you both. Lucien and Ariana exchanged a glance, fierce and unshakable. Then, as one, they pushed forward, golden and silver flames merging into a storm of light that surged through the courtyard, striking the leader with the full force of their combined bond. The Shadowborn leader screamed, staggered, and then dissolved into shadows, scattered by the unstoppable force of their love and unity. The battlefield fell silent, the storm finally spent. Lucien knelt, beast form receding slowly, golden fire dimming. Ariana fell into his arms, trembling, hands on his chest. We did it, she whispered, exhaustion and relief flooding her. Yes, together, he murmured, forehead against hers. And no matter what comes, we will always fight as one. Mira appeared, voice quiet but filled with awe. The gathering storm has passed, but remember, the Shadowborn will regroup. This victory is only the beginning. The true trials of the bond and the heart flame are still to come. Ariana and Lucien shared a look, hearts pounding, bond glowing brighter than ever. The storm had tested them, but it had also strengthened them. And far beyond the mountains, unseen eyes watched, whispering, the Alpha King and his mate have survived, but the true Shadowborn power is awakening. And soon, the world will tremble before the storm to come. The sky burned red as the blood moon climbed higher, casting a haunting glow over the Shadow Keep and the valley beyond. Its light was both beautiful and threatening, painting the world in crimson and silver, a reminder of the forces stirring in the darkness. Ariana stood at the balcony, the heart flame beneath her skin pulsing in tune with Lucien's heartbeat. She could feel the bond thrumming violently, warning her that the calm after tea. Gathering storm was only temporary. Lucien appeared behind her, alpha form partially shifted, golden fur glowing faintly in the moonlight. His claws flexed, golden and crimson eyes scanning every shadow, every flicker of movement. They're coming back, he said, voice low, tense. Stronger, smarter. They've been waiting for this night, the blood moon is their catalyst. Ariana swallowed, feeling both fear and anticipation. Then we face them. Together. Always. He placed a hand on her shoulder, gaze softening. Always. But tonight, the trial will be unlike anything we've faced. The Shadowborn won't attack directly. They'll test us, try to fracture the bond. Inside the keep, preparations were underway. Lucien's allies moved with precision, fortifying walls with magic, sharpening blades, summoning protective wards. Ariana assisted where she could, flames of silver illuminating the hallways, weaving enchantments into the stones, anchoring the power of the heart flame. Mira approached, her violet eyes dark with concern. The blood moon strengthens not only the Shadowborn but also the heart flame. Your bond will be tested to its limits. And, there is something you must know. Ariana's heartbeat quickened. What is it? Mira hesitated, then whispered, there may be betrayal among your allies. The Shadowborn have eyes everywhere. Someone close may turn against you when the moon is highest. Lucien's jaw tightened, claws flexing. Then we stay vigilant. No one breaks this bond. Not tonight. Not ever. As the blood moon reached its zenith, shadows rose from the forests beyond the valley, twisting into forms more monstrous than before. The Shadowborn had grown stronger, their magic amplified by the lunar light. Crimson eyes gleamed from every direction, and their leader emerged, taller, darker, more terrifying than Ariana remembered. Lucian growled, golden fire flaring along his body. Hold your ground. Do not let them divide us. Ariana stepped beside him, silver flames intertwining with his golden aura, pulsing like a heartbeat, radiating the power of their bond. We are one, she said, voice strong. No shadow, no enemy, can break us. The first wave surged forward, attacking with relentless speed. Lucian leapt, claws tearing through the darkness, fangs bared, while Ariana's silver flames cut paths through the shadows, protecting him, amplifying every strike. The heart flame pulsed violently, responding to the intensity of their emotions, love, fear, determination, trust, all channeled into a force the Shadowborn could not anticipate. But amid the chaos, a figure moved subtly among their allies, someone Ariana had trusted. A dagger glinted in the blood moonlight, aimed at Lucian's back. Time seemed to slow. The bond screamed in warning. Lucian, Arian. A shouted, her silver flames exploding in a protective arc. The dagger was deflected, clanging against the magical wards she had anchored moments before. Lucian spun, eyes blazing gold and crimson, fury and shock mingling. Who dares? The traitor froze, face twisted in fear and defiance. Shadows surged around them, trying to escape, but the bond between Lucian and Ariana flared, golden and silver light connecting them, feeding the Alpha's strength and sealing the breach. Ariana's voice rang clear, unwavering. You will not harm him. Not while I breathe. Not while we are one. The heart flame pulsed with unprecedented intensity, sending waves through the courtyard, scattering the Shadowborn forces and striking fear into the traitor's heart. Lucian's claws extended, golden fire surrounding him. The bond protects us. Always. You will regret this. The Shadowborn leader watched from the shadows, its crimson eyes gleaming with malice and calculation. The blood moon has awakened them fully, but even now, the final test has not begun. Their bond is strong, yes, but love alone cannot shield them from the darkness that approaches. Ariana pressed close to Lucian, silver flames wrapping around his golden fire. Whatever comes, we face it together. Always. Lucian lowered his head, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Always, he whispered, voice fierce and tender all at once. And as the blood moon reached its apex, a chilling wind swept through the keep. Shadows twisted unnaturally, and the distant rumble of a greater darkness echoed across the valley, a reminder that the ultimate trial of love, power, and destiny was about to begin. The wind screamed through the shattered towers of the Shadow Keep, carrying whispers of betrayal and dread. Shadows shifted unnaturally, stretching like living tendrils across the stone walls. The blood moon hung high, its crimson light turning the world into a battlefield of silver and scarlet. Lucian stood at the center of the courtyard, claws flexing, golden fire blazing along his fur. His eyes, gold and crimson, scanned every shadow, every flicker of movement. The bond pulsed violently, warning him of unseen threats, but it also anchored him, reminded him of Ariana, of their unity, their unstoppable force. Ariana's silver flames coiled around him, intertwining with his golden fire, wrapping him in warmth, protection, and raw power. Her heartbeat echoed in his chest through the bond, steadying the Alpha, stabilizing the beast within. Lucian, together, she whispered, her voice trembling with emotion but strong in determination. The Shadowborn leader emerged from the darkness, taller, more terrifying, crimson eyes burning with malice. Beside him, the traitor moved, one of Lucian's own allies, dagger poised, ready to str. Ike. Lucian roared, claws slashing through the first wave of shadow soldiers. No one betrays the bond. Not tonight, not ever. Ariana flared her silver flames, forming a protective barrier around Lucian. The traitor hesitated, momentarily blinded by the surge of combined golden and silver light. You cannot, the Shadowborn hissed. We are one. Ariana screamed, channeling every ounce of power from the heart flame. The silver-gold storm exploded outward, scattering the enemy, striking the Shadowborn leader directly. Crimson eyes narrowed, but even he recoiled at the intensity of the bond. Lucian lunged, claws blazing, striking the traitor's defenses. Betrayal cannot survive against the bond of Alpha and mate. The heart flame pulsed violently, surging through both of them, amplifying strength, speed, and instinct. Lucian's beast form roared, golden fire and silver flames merging into a whirlwind that tore through the shadow soldiers. The Shadowborn leader staggered, fury in every movement. He lashed out with cursed energy, aiming to sever the bond entirely, to rip Ariana from Lucian. Shadows clawed at her, claws slicing through air and flame. Ariana's voice rang across the courtyard, unwavering, "You will not break us. Not him, not me. We are one, always." The heart flame flared to its peak, illuminating the entire keep. Golden fire and silver light fused into a perfect, unstoppable storm. Lucian's claws struck the leader with unimaginable force, while Ariana's flames wrapped around the enemy, amplifying every strike, feeding the Alpha, stabilizing the bond, protecting their unity. The Shadowborn leader screamed, staggering, consumed by the overwhelming power of love, trust, and combined magic. The traitor fell, powerless under the surge of energy that emanated from the Alpha and his mate. Lucian dropped to his knees, golden fire dimming, beast form receding. Ariana fell beside him, breathless, hands on his chest. "We survived," she whispered, voice trembling with relief. "Yes," he murmured, forehead resting against hers. "Because of the bond, because of us, together, always." The blood moon's red light faded slightly, leaving a soft silver glow. The battlefield was quiet, victory earned, but far from permanent. Mira appeared, eyes grave. "The trial of the blood moon has passed, but know this, the Shadowborn are patient. Their power grows, and the final challenge, the one that will test the heart flame, the Alpha, and the mate, is still coming." Lucian lifted Ariana, holding her close. "Whatever comes next, we face it together. Nothing breaks us." Ariana's silver flames danced around them, entwining with his golden fire. Together, always. Far beyond the mountains, unseen eyes watched, whispering, "The Alpha King and his mate have survived, but he Heart of Shadow has only begun to awaken. The true reckoning is yet to come." The sky darkened as the final eclipse began. The sun and moon aligned perfectly, casting a shadow over the world, a perfect blend of silver and crimson. The air was thick with anticipation, the wind heavy with the weight of destiny. Every heartbeat in the shadow keep resonated with the tension of what was about to unfold. Ariana stood at the highest balcony, silver flames coiling around her hands, glowing brighter with every heartbeat. The heart flame pulsed beneath her skin, screaming with raw, untamed energy. She could feel it calling, urging, warning. The bond with Lucian was stronger than ever, and yet, the power of the Shadowborn that awaited them made her pulse quicken with fear and excitement. Lucian emerged beside her, fully shifted into his Alpha form, golden fur bristling, claws extended, eyes flashing gold and crimson. He was both terrifying and beautiful, a living storm of power and determination. "This is it," he murmured, voice low but full of intensity. "The final test, the Shadowborn's ultimate strike. We must hold together." Ariana stepped closer, pressing her hand to his chest, feeling the heartbeat of the Alpha beneath her palm. "Together," she whispered, silver flames merging with the golden fire of his fur, amplifying their combined power. "Always." The Shadowborn emerged from every direction, more monstrous than ever. Their leader, taller, darker, and infinitely more menacing, hovered above the battlefield, eyes blazing crimson, a dark aura swirling around him like a storm of hatred and magic. "You've survived," the leader hissed, voice like grinding metal. "Alpha King, mate, you may have grown stronger, but now, under the eclipse, the true power awakens. And it will consume everything you hold dear." Lucian growled, claws flexing. "We will not fall. Not today. Not ever. You will learn that the bond between mate and Alpha is stronger than any shadow." Ariana's silver flames surged, intertwining with the golden fire radiating from him. The heart flame pulsed, expanding outward, illuminating the entire battlefield, sending waves of energy that pushed back the Shadowborn ranks. We are one, she cried, voice raw with emotion. And together, we are unstoppable. The first wave of attack came, a storm of dark energy, claws, and curses. Lucian tore through them with precision, golden fire shredding shadows, every strike amplified by Ariana's silver flames. The bond between them pulsed with each heartbeat, each breath, stabilizing Lucian's beast form, feeding his strength, guiding his movements. The Shadowborn leader struck, aiming directly at the heart flame, trying to sever Ariana's connection to Lucian. Shadows lashed out, wrapping around her, trying to pull her into darkness. She screamed, pouring every ounce of her power into the bond. You will not take him. You will not break us. A surge of light exploded from the heart flame, golden and silver fire merging into a storm that overwhelmed the Shadowborn, scattering shadows in every direction. The leader staggered, eyes narrowing in disbelief. Lucian lunged forward, claws blazing, fangs bared, fire consuming everything in his path. Ariana moved with him, silver flames weaving through every attack, guiding, protecting, amplifying. Every pulse of the bond was a weapon, every heartbeat a shield, every breath a promise. They were unstoppable together. The Shadowborn leader roared, summoning a wave of darkness that eclipsed the battlefield. Shadows twisted into monstrous forms, energy so strong that it bent the air itself. The heart flame pulsed violently, warning them, screaming, shaking the bond to its limits. Lucian's beast form surged uncontrollably, muscles tensing, fangs bared, raw power threatening to consume everything, including Ariana. But she reached for him, hands glowing with silver light, pressing against his chest. Focus. Fight with me. We are one. Golden and silver fire collided with the shadows, a storm of unstoppable energy erupting across the keep. The heart flame exploded outward, waves of light and magic striking the Shadowborn with the full force of their love and unity. The Shadowborn leader screamed, staggering, his power faltering under the intensity of the combined alpha and mate bond. But he refused to yield, summoning every ounce of dark energy for a final strike, aiming to destroy the heart flame entirely. Ariana and Lucian locked eyes, hearts pounding, bond pulsing brighter than ever. Together, Lucian whispered, fangs bared, claws glowing with golden fire. Always, Ariana echoed, silver flames blazing like sunlight cutting through darkness. The final clash erupted. The heart flame, their combined love, energy, and trust, collided with the Shadowborn leader's dark storm. Light and darkness clashed violently, shaking the keep, splintering stone, sending waves of energy across the battlefield. The bond surged to its ultimate strength. Golden fire and silver flames merged completely, forming a blazing storm around the alpha and mate. Lucian's beast roared, fully controlled, fully guided by Ariana's calm power, while she channeled every ounce of the heart flame, her love, and her determination into the alpha beside her. The Shadowborn leader screamed, crimson eyes wide, darkness unraveling under the intensity of the unified bond. The storm of light consumed him, shredding his power, breaking his connection to the shadows, until at last, he was no more. Silence fell. The blood moon began to wane, silver light replacing crimson. The battlefield lay quiet, smoke curling from the shattered Shadowborn forces. Lucian collapsed, beast form receding, golden fire dimming. Ariana fell into his arms, trembling, hands clutching his chest. We did it, she whispered, exhausted, relief flooding her voice. Lucian held her close, forehead pressed to hers. Yes, together. Always. Nothing can break us. The heart flame hovered between them, now stable, glowing brighter than ever. Its silver gold light illuminated the keep, a beacon of their bond, of love, of unbreakable unity. Mira approached, eyes wide with awe. The final eclipse has passed, the Shadowborn are defeated. The heart flame is fully awakened. The bond, it is absolute. The Alpha King and his mate have changed the fate of this world. Ariana pressed her forehead to Lucian's, flames entwining with his golden fire. Together, always, she repeated softly. Lucian smiled, voice low, tender, fierce all at once. Always. Beyond the mountains, the world seemed to exhale, shadows retreating, sunlight returning. But even as peace settled, the heart flame pulsed gently, a reminder. Love, trust, and unity had prevailed. But their story their bond would continue, stronger than ever. And for the Alpha King and his mate, the world was no longer just a battlefield. It was theirs to protect, to cherish, and to conquer, together. For more videos please subscribe my channel. Your one like and subscribe means a lot.